with jury selection in a case brought by the Biden Justice Department. At one point, a plea deal was in place that would have avoided a trial, but that agreement unraveled last summer. Prosecutors say the younger Biden bought the gun illegally in October 2018 because he falsely swore on a federal form that he wasn't a drug user. His lawyers say he never fired the gun and that it ended up dumped in a trash can. Greg Clugston, Washington.
House Speaker Mike Johnson contends President Biden's pending border security announcement is blatantly political. He says it's obvious given the administration's open border policy of the past several years.
They did it intentionally, and it has had catastrophic effects upon our country that we'll be living with for decades to come. And now he wants to issue some sort of executive order, I guess, to show that, oh, no, he really does care about the issue. The only reason he's doing that is because the polls say that it's the biggest issue in America.
Johnson on Fox News Sunday. A boil water order remains in effect. Crews in Atlanta working round the clock to repair ruptured water mains left more than 1 million people without water. The mains, said to be very old, broke Friday morning. Democrat Texas Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee says she's undergoing treatment for pancreatic cancer. She is seeking a 16th term in office. Jackson Lee won the Democratic nomination in March, months after losing a mayoral bid in Houston. For the first time, Mexico will have a female president. The governing party's Claudia Sheinbaum, former Mexico City mayor, has won the Mexican presidential election. Ahead of this morning's opening bell on Wall Street, the stock futures are mixed. Dow futures currently down 8 points, while the NASDAQ futures 97 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-932-8603 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-932-8603. That's 800-932-8603. What do you have to lose? Call 800-932-8603. Again, 800-932-8603.
Along with pretty much everything else, the price of airline tickets is on the rise, and there's no end in sight.
The cost of your next flight is likely to go up. That's the word from the International Air Transport Association, which is holding its annual meeting in Dubai, home to the long-haul carrier Emirates. While carriers recover from the groundings worldwide from the coronavirus pandemic, industry leaders are telling journalists that several global costs likely to push those ticket prices even higher. Part of that comes from worldwide inflation. Then there's jet fuel costs, roughly a third of all airline expenses. That remains high. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
China has quashed large-scale commemorations of tomorrow's 35th anniversary of Beijing's Tiananmen Square crackdown within its borders. But outside the country, commemorative events have grown increasingly crucial for preserving memories of the 1989 bloodletting. Government troops opened fire on pro-democracy protesters. Townhall.com. Along one stretch of sand in Southern California, it's everybody out of the water.
A beach in Del Mar, California will remain closed until Tuesday after a shark attack injured a swimmer. Authorities say a 46-year-old man was attacked by a shark while swimming with a group at Del Mar City Beach. He was seriously injured, bitten in the torso and the left arm and hand. That shark came so close to shore, it was only about 100 yards from a lifeguard station early Sunday morning. The city deployed a drone and a boat to look for the shark after the attack, but no success. The beach will remain closed for surfers and swimmers until Tuesday morning. I'm Jackie Quinn.
The wildfire that has charred more than 14,000 acres near Tracy, California, is now at least 50% contained. The blaze has prompted evacuations. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, Whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy Monday, everybody.
Yay.
Welcome to it.
It's going to be a long week.
It's going to be a hot week.
It's going to be a very hot week, but it's going to feel a lot longer because it's a one whole extra day that we got to work.
This is true. It is a full 5-day week.
For you, the countdown is on. So
Yes.
It's going to seem extra taffy stretched long.
Yeah, I'm going to be like quickest path, the path of least resistance. I got to get to Friday so I can get in vacation.
I get you. I get you.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that going on.
I may have to take a personal sometime this week just because one of my kids is going to camp, and then the other one's just going to be bored this week. So I got to figure out something for her to do.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Hunter, looking forward to it?
He is. Yes.
Excellent.
I was showing him the different modules and stuff that he's going to be doing. He's very excited.
Yeah, he'll start this morning here, right? Head on over to All Saints, right?
Yep. Had to go run over there early, and I actually had to run to Albertsons and grab all the stuff to make his lunch, and then go make his lunch and pack it for him so that he'd have it ready to go.
He's easier to prep lunch for than your daughter.
He loves peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. So I got him stuff for peanut butter and jelly sandwich, some goldfish, Oreos. He's set to jet.
Grape
Kool-Aid
or strawberry man?
Grape. Actually, he varies. I tend to go strawberry when he's like at my house, but they have a lot of grape jelly. Yeah, so he bounces around.
Good call. Equal opportunity preservative.
That's right. Now here's a question. Do you I thought about this morning.
Yes.
When you're preparing a PB&J, which do you apply first?
Peanut butter.
So you would rather have peanut butter residue in your jelly than jelly residue in your peanut butter?
No, I'm a thorough cleaner of the knife.
So you're a knife wiper. Okay. Now, do you go thick and heavy on both? Okay. So
yeah.
So now,
well, and to be honest, I'm a little gross.
That was my next question. Is do you now? I know you because you're a savage.
Then I wipe the knife.
That's it. I know you because you're a savage. I was going to argue you don't even wipe. You just go with lick.
I do both. I do wipe after I lick.
I only wiped my knife. Let me finish that sentence. I only wiped the knife this morning because I was preparing someone else's sandwich.
Now, in all fairness, there's only one person that gets in either of those. Me. My wife, I can count the number of times on one hand I've ever seen her open peanut butter and do something with it. And jelly. And 9 times out of 10, it's usually apple butter or something. She doesn't make peanut butter and jellies. She doesn't like peanuts.
She's a school teacher.
Yeah, she doesn't like peanuts.
I'm sure she stays away from everything that reminds her. I'm sure she doesn't eat rectangle-shaped pizzas. I'm positive she doesn't drink milk out of a carton. Anything that reminds her remotely of work, she steers clear of, I'm sure.
Probably. But she doesn't like peanuts or any nuts. So
that's mind-boggling.
But she'll eat like a Reese's peanut butter cup or something. But she doesn't like peanut butter that much.
Just straight.
So she'll eat like a cup or a little candy, but
man,
that's about the extent of it.
When I was on keto, you would always you could say, "Hey Sean, let me see your spoon," and I would just reach in my pocket and have a metal spoon all the time. Work, home, because I would always my go-to when I was feeling like really like famished, spoonful of peanut butter.
Helps the medicine go down.
Oh man, it's a great cure-all, especially if you got like the natural stuff with the like lower sugar.
Yeah,
the stuff you got to stir the bejesus out of just
get
to
the
make
oil
it work.
and the butter mixed
But
together.
a little spoonful of that just, satiates the hunger. What happens is though, you go all the way back down, you sit down, and you're like, well, no, I want some more. And then you get a bigger spoonful of peanut butter. And by the time, that's the thing is they say a serving size is the size of the palm of your hand. Mm-hmm. They never say how high you can go. I could fit a double stack can of Pringles in one hand.
Right. I was saying, what if you got hands like Andre the Giant?
That's right. Everybody want the peanut?
I mean, you could literally put Thanksgiving dinner in that man's hand.
You really could. And then do that thing my dad used to do is layer of mashed taters, and that's a whole nother plate there.
That's right.
I haven't even gotten down to the quiche layer.
Yep. Well, happy Monday.
Yes.
Happy summer, even though it's not officially yet, but feels like it, acts like it, talks like it.
How was your weekend?
Pretty good.
Yeah?
Pretty good. I voted.
Oh, nice.
I did get voting taken care of this weekend. So, by the way, your last day to early vote was Saturday. You cannot early vote today, and tomorrow is election day.
Yes.
So if you did not vote early, make sure you vote tomorrow.
Please vote.
They have the different polling locations all around town.
I'm so tired of that headline of lower than expected voter turnout. It's like we were already expecting low. Yeah. Let's blow some minds.
Well, and I'm going to say midweek last week, I was hearing that the early voting numbers were pretty low. So hopefully, I know we are the land of manana. We like to show up late.
As much money as these people have sunk into these campaigns, let's make it at least slightly worth their while and vote.
Well, if you're mad at everything you're seeing, this is the one way to change it.
If you got a call from a high schooler at some point in the last 72 hours, you should probably exercise your right to vote.
Did you get any?
No, I didn't. If I did, I didn't answer.
I got 2 in an hour from the
You're
same
hard
people.
pressed to get me to answer a phone number that I don't recognize.
Well, and that's just it. It didn't say spam risk. It just said local number. And I get a lot of people that call me wanting to get on the show or wanting. So if it doesn't say spam risk, I usually answer it. And it said Roswell, and I was like, oh. And then it was a nice younger person asking me to vote for
someone. I don't know if you've noticed this or if any parents out there have noticed this. When the Roswell Independent School District calls, those robocalls, it always pops up as spam risk. And I have no idea why it does that.
And that might be because, like, on my wife's phone, I don't think it does. But you have to ask her to be 100% certain.
The only reason because I know the number, so I recognize the number, so I answer it. But
I think when Kim gets the call, it says it's from the RASD, but maybe I'm wrong.
That could be because it's programmed in her phone as
maybe,
RASD.
But I don't think it is like that number. Whatever number that I don't know. You have to ask her. It's
right
above my page.
I think it's the 637-3305, but that's just spitballing.
Ooh, that's a new song.
637-3305.
It's a snow day.
So imagine one's disappointment when you gather together with a couple of friends, you get in a car or truck, you drive at least an hour to a destination.
Okay.
Only to have that destination close and lock their door for the evening.
Ooh.
It's exactly what happened to us on Saturday.
Ooh.
We were trying to come up with something to do, and we all decided, hey, let's go to Fox Cave. That might be fun, And we pull up, and it was right around 6 o'clock. I checked their website. 8 o'clock was the close. Locking up that gate.
Big plans that night, I guess.
Boy, that was frustrating. We made it work. We found a couple of really cool places. We had to drive all the way into Ruidoso, but we found a couple of really cool places.
In the mountains there. Probably a little cooler. So.
And have you ever had a craving for something you don't know what it is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I've had that a lot lately. I've been like really hungry, but I don't know for what.
Okay. Did you figure it out?
Figured it out on Saturday.
Yeah?
You know what it was?
No.
An original name, a funny name. Schlotzky's.
Oh, the sandwich.
As we were sitting in Ruidoso, and I just had this
and they have one in Ruidoso.
I had this ding light bulb moment. I go, oh, we could go to Schlotzky's, and one by one of the group, Jocelyn was there too. One by one, the group was like, yeah, let's go to Schlotzky's. But I didn't make eye contact with anybody. In fact, I had a barrier of bag and stuff in front of me, and I just ate that sandwich like it was my last meal, and I was a convict.
You know, a celebrity worked in that Schlotzky's.
Oh, really? Neil Patrick Harris?
Neil Patrick Harris worked in that Schlotzky's.
That's really cool.
Yeah, because my wife worked there, I think before him or after. I think right before him.
That's
she's a little older than Doogie.
So had he already gotten Doogie before working at Schlotsky's?
Yeah, they knew because Doogie babysat Kim's younger sister.
But he'd already gotten the role.
That I doubt.
Because see,
I think he was already. I don't think he was famous yet.
Because when he started on the show, he looked like a 13-year-old kid.
Yeah.
So he was working before that.
Yeah,
that's crazy. I mean, he probably looked younger than he was.
Yeah, and he probably is. Yeah, he's probably like 17 and looked 12 or something like that. But
why is it the dudes with the really great acting ability are like 5'2"?
I don't know.
You just missed the mark, man. You were 2 inches too tall for Hollywood. You're too tall for fame.
Although, I would be like a land of giants in Hollywood.
Have you taken your measurements since you clipped off the like half inch of hair height that you had? Because you might make it now. You might be like down to 5'3".
I didn't have 8 inches.
You might have had like a half inch of hair height.
According to your thing, I'd have like 5 inches.
Well, my dad used to wear the most high poofy haircut.
Yeah.
By the way, happy belated birthday to my late father. He would have been yesterday. But he had like 2 inches of hair height.
If I had 2 inches of hair height, I wouldn't be bald right now.
That's true. There'd be a pick supported.
I would have hair.
Could still hold a beach umbrella.
Man, this weekend I ate anything that had any kind of spice in it. My head looked like a swimming pool.
Yeah.
Oh man, I just like a couple times this weekend. It like I had a like a enchilada, green chili chicken enchilada. It wasn't like my mouth wasn't on fire or nothing. I wasn't like thinking, "Woo, this is a hot chili." Next thing you know, my head is just like literally. I go like this, and I've got a puddle of water in my hand.
So gross.
It's so I think it's just my body's changing.
Your chemistry is changing up. You're gonna have to like
stinks, man.
Par down to like a Mrs. Dash. I'm sorry, Dash. You can't call her Mrs. Dash anymore.
She got divorced.
She's gender non-binary.
Oh,
it's just Dash now.
It's just Dash.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, this kind of sucks.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm just gonna keep eating spice. And
You're just gonna push through it.
I mean, I don't care. I mean, I like it. I mean,
I'm the same way, but I'll tell you where it manifests itself with me, and this is so annoying. I got it a couple of times this weekend, once from hot food and once from just being hot outside, is mustache sweat. Like where my upper lip sweats under my mustache. I hate that.
Yeah.
That's the worst feeling in the world to have a wet lip.
Yeah.
I can't explain it other than that. It's just a wet lip.
Yeah. Matter of fact, the other time was Kim and I tried El Coco Parate over the weekend.
Oh, really?
And I had I went cold. I went with a almost like a ceviche, with shrimp and conch
with the lime and
the
pico
with the big
tostadas,
tortilla tostada deals, and it was very good, but it was like atypical Mexican spice. About the third way through it, I'm like, oh man, this thing's hot.
You were getting the jalapeno
and I was literally in Coco Prato. I'm like, get a napkin because it's just good. She goes, it's coming down now. You need to flex it. I'm like, this is good.
Yeah, that's the other problem with being bald is you don't know which way it's going to cascade.
Yeah,
you got to figure out the flow of your head. Like, which direction will the water flow?
Go this way.
You just need to start experimenting. Just have like a single drip on the top of just the very direct top of your head and see where it goes.
Yeah, our guest is in here.
Yes.
Oh, good, excellent. They sneak in quietly.
They really do.
I'm thinking they're not here, so I'm usually used to hearing loud noises, and I'm not hearing. Our guests are getting stealthy.
They are like thieves in the night.
But yeah. By the way, the food was excellent over there. I had a shrimp. It was good.
I want to go check it out for sure.
Ready for another round? I'm gonna try something hot next time. And they got sushi too. I didn't get into the sushi. So.
Yeah, I saw a couple of their rolls look really good.
Another day, another time.
There you go.
So let me give you the rundown. We do have a full slate for you for today's show. Here in just a few minutes, we're going to be joined in studio by Tracy De La Rosa. She's a Republican candidate for State Representative District 59 here in the upcoming primary election tomorrow. So we'll have a great conversation with her in just a few. In the 8 o'clock hour, about 8:15, we're going to have Elaine Mayfield and probably maybe another guest or two talking Galacticon with us as that is happening here. Actually, that's just we're less than a month away now, officially. I think. What's today? No, we're still officially like 1 month away.
We're about a month away.
Yeah, about a month away.
Time is flying.
But either way, it's coming up quick here. And so we'll get an update from her. And then in the 9 o'clock hour, about 9:15, we'll talk with the folks from Roswell Seed. John and Crystal Noble will join us and put on their Roswell Seed hats, give us an update what's happening there.
Yes, indeed.
Plus, we'll have all of your features, including the newses of the local national variety, tons of political ads for you, and whatever else we can come up with for today's show. Before we do any of that, let's take a gander at your weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Sunny and hot for the next couple of days. Upper level high pressure overhead will hit about 100 for the afternoon high today, maybe a little bit over, and wind gusting at 20 to 30 miles an hour. Overnight looks clear. We'll cool off into the upper 60s, still a little bit breezy, and then more heat coming up on Tuesday. Afternoon highs 100 to 105, and we'll be getting sunshine hot again on Wednesday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 70 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 14%. Pretty low, with winds out of the east at 5 miles per hour. Sunny and hot for today. 102 the expected high. Northwest winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Tonight, clear skies. Looking at an overnight low of 67 degrees. Winds will be out of the west at around 15 miles per hour. Free Tuesday. More of the same. Sunny, hot. 104 tomorrow. Winds out of the northwest, 10 to 15 miles per hour. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, 70 for an overnight low. North winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Wednesday, sunny, highs near 100, so slightly cooler if you want to call it that. Winds out of the north at around 10 miles per hour. Wednesday night, partly cloudy, overnight low of 71. Thursday, and really for Thursday and through the weekend, they've got rain chances. Slight ones, but rain chances. 20% for Thursday, mainly for the afternoon. Sunny and a high of 104. 20% chance of rain for Friday afternoon, mostly sunny, highs near 100. Saturday, a 20% chance at afternoon showers, mostly sunny, 103. And a 20% chance for afternoon showers on Sunday as well, sunny and 99. So, I don't know. Seems a bit early for monsoon season, but either way, I'm not complaining. We'll take the rain, however, whenever it comes. All right, it is 7:22. We're going to take, we'll get you into Roswell Livestock Report with Smiley Wooten, quick break, and then we'll have Tracy De La Rosa join us on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Good morning, this is Smiley Wooten at the Roswell Livestock Auction. A big June run this week with a nice selection of all classes of cattle, especially high-quality native calves, yearlings, pairs, bred cows, light roping-sized calves. We expect to sell 1,450 head. Breaking down like this: 250, 275 weighing cows and bulls, 150, 175 pairs of bred cows, 1,000, 1,050 calves and yearlings. Today's sale will include 70, 80 cow-calf pairs, several sets of young, middle-aged black and Charolais cross cows with good Angus Charolais cross calves inside. 35 bred cows out of Lunte Farms and Ranch right here at Roswell. Excellent quality black Angus cows bred to 44 farmed bulls. These cows 4 to 6 years old. A really nice set of young bred cows. Several other sets of young and middle-aged bred cows bred to Angus and Charolais bulls. Also 4 Angus bulls. Excellent quality. Used one season, trick and fertility tested. Ready to turn out. 21 calves, Jet Taylor, Pecos, Texas. Excellent quality black white face Angus crossbred calves, 275, 375 pounds. 53 calves, Miss Lacey Kane, Van Horn, Texas. Excellent quality Charolais crossbred cows. Calves really dried out, mostly roping size, 150, 300 pounds. 56 steers, B&B Livestock, Fort Hancock, Texas. Excellent quality black white face Angus crossbred steers. Cattle long time wean right off short wheat, 450, 700 pounds. Also 65 heifers from Fort Hancock. Excellent quality black white face. These are yearlings right off short wheat, 500, 750 pounds. 94 calves, the Stockton Ranch, Dexter, New Mexico. Good quality 90% black white face Angus cross calves. Cattle wean 100 plus days, 2 rounds of shots, medium condition, right off short wheat, 400, 550 pounds. 56 calves, Gresham Ranch, Portales, New Mexico. Good quality black white face Charolais crossbred calves. Cattle wean 90 days, 2 rounds of shots, right off some short wheat, 375, 500 pounds. 52 calves, Mr. Philip Holcomb, Alamogordo, New Mexico. Excellent quality black white face, red white face English crossbreds. Triangle 10, 7-way Somnus, thin condition, 400, 550 pounds. Sale time this morning, 9 o'clock. Sale pairs bred cows, 10:45 to 11. Be selling calves and yearlings around 12 o'clock noon. We expect to sell 1,450 head here today. This is Smiley Wooten, Roswell Livestock Auction.
Hello, this is State Senator Greg Nybert. As you know, I represent Chaves County in the State Senate for District 27. I've represented us in the legislature for 8 years. I'm asking for your vote so that I can continue to be your strong voice for Chaves County. It is important that you go vote. Voting in Chaves County has been light, and there are contested races on the ballot this year, so your vote is very important. Early voting ends Saturday, and Election Day is Tuesday, June 4th. As your state senator, I will continue to protect our Second Amendment rights, the right to life, our oil and gas industry, and our conservative Republican values. And I will, of course, do my best to bring economic development and growth to our community, as I did with the recently announced Reno air races. I humbly ask for your vote for Greg Nybert in the upcoming Republican primary so we can keep Chaves County strong. Please go vote early this week. Election Day is Tuesday, June 4th.
Paid for by Greg Nybert for State Senate.
When it comes to fighting the governor and her progressive lackeys in the State House, we need a proven conservative. This is Jared Hembry, and I have taken on the left-wing agenda as your conservative representative. New Mexico has serious issues, many of which are being ignored by the governor and the liberal left, and we need a representative who will fight to protect our way of life. I know what it takes to fight and win in Santa Fe. I am humbly asking for your trust and your vote on or before June 4th so I can continue to fight for what we believe.
Paid for by Jared Hembry for State Representative.
Strong women need strong partners to help them lead their healthiest lives. At Artesia General Hospital, Dr. Scott Beard and nurse practitioner Lori Crockett deliver compassionate, holistic care to women at every age and stage. From routine checkups to diagnostic testing and specialty services like urogynecology, you can expect the most innovative, personalized care close to home. Learn more about women's services at Artesia General Hospital online at artesiageneral.com/women or by calling 575-736-8394. Many women's services are also offered in Carlsbad.
This is State Representative Jim Townsend. I want to tell you why Candy Spence-Ezell is the best choice to be your next state senator. Candy is consistently ranked as one of the most conservative legislators in the entire New Mexico legislature. That's why the attacks on her in this race have been so ridiculous. The vote her opponent says was for illegal immigrants. Well, actually, that healthcare vote was to keep rural hospitals open during COVID, and every Republican in the legislature in Santa Fe that day voted for it, even the liberal Republicans supporting her opponent. The vote Candy's opponent says was for critical race theory was an education bill that, again, every Republican in the legislature in Santa Fe that day voted for. The attacks on Candy's characters are lies. Candy is a tried and true conservative Republican. Please vote Candy Spence-Ezell for State Senate.
Paid for by Candy Spence-Ezell for State Senate District 32.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The ball on top of a flagpole is called a truck. Mess with your friends today by pointing at a flagpole and say, "Hey, check out the truck on top of that flagpole." Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 7:28, and joining us in studio this morning, candidate for the state representative representing District 59, Republican candidate Tracy De La Rosa, joining us in studio this morning. Good morning. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
We'd love to have you on. Of course, we've had you on wearing different hats over the years here. But so I guess first question one is what made you decide to say, you know what? I want to get involved and run as a representative here.
Well, 2 years ago, I was going to get on the ballot, and, I was just getting involved. COVID had happened. Everything was a little crazy, and so I thought we've got to be able to do something. So whenever I was, didn't get on the ballot, I thought I'm going to work for the next 2 years and see if I deserve it. Let's see if I can work and put some stuff together.
Sure.
We came together with Change Course New Mexico. I run Change Course, and we had the referendum project going for the last year and a half, and we have been able to get almost 45,000 signatures on 6 bills. So that's more than 250,000 signatures, and I thought, there's something here.
Sure.
And people want to be represented, and, and I thought, well, I can do this.
Sure. And it's like you said, with Change Course, which is all started through grassroots, and it's really... kind of, the will of the people, getting the issues of the will of the people to our representatives. That's kind of one of the goals of the organization.
Absolutely.
And so I would imagine, you doing that, it's, you get experience to see how the legislature works, how, what you can do and what you can't do. But I'm going to guess at the same token, it's really hard to get anything done from a grassroots standpoint. You need to be in the room.
Name. You need that title behind your name. It's going to be a lot different when I come to you and say, I'm State Representative Tracy, rather than Joe Schmo off the streets.
Concerned citizen.
Yeah.
Which it shouldn't be the case because, this is how America works, but it is. And so I imagine just logically, it's like, hey, we can only go so far.
Right.
Here, we need to have representatives in the room so we can actually turn the opinions and get votes in some
and get
of these.
money. You know, if we had the kind of money that have been spent on political ads for the referendum, these signatures would have been done last year.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And it's been grassroots people out knocking doors and setting up tables and, doing these little things to get this legislation and these bad laws changed.
Mm-hmm.
If we had a state representative up there saying, look at this and getting people involved and getting money for it, it'd mean a lot more and it'd go a lot further.
Gotcha.
So that's what we need to do. Give this position to the people.
Sure. Just explain to you just your experiences in this campaign. So obviously this is your first time running an actual campaign here for an election here. Just kind of what's been lessons learned for you? What's been, because it's because I know you probably learned a lot through Change Course and all that, but we all know once you hit that certain level, then the rules start getting. I mean, what's been your personal experience in that side?
So Change
of things?
Course is a little different than this campaign. With Change Course, everybody that's coming to most of the people that are coming to my meetings are very like-minded.
Mm-hmm.
And I am a conservative. I'm pro-life.
But they're kind of angry like you are. Like they're coming to Change Course because they're not happy
they know something's going
with
on.
Status quo.
Yes. Yeah. So whenever I get out into the streets and, we do a lot of door knocking, we're meeting everybody. We don't just go to Republican doors. We go to every door.
Sure.
And we talk to people and we find out everybody's pretty much the same. It's just different levels of education and awareness.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we've really tried to do is let people know that they can take action this way.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody says, okay, we know something's going on, but what do we do? So they want to be educated. And we've just figured out that if you give people a little bit of education and, they pick up on that, they'll run with it.
Sure.
And they get a little bit more excited and they like to see us out there among the people. And I know it's different whenever my door knockers are out and let's say they're in a different neighborhood than I am.
Mm-hmm.
It's different when I'm right there. And if I say I'm running for state representative versus I'm supporting this person. So
it does get you a little bit more like people. Everyone wants to talk to the person.
Yes.
It's like they don't want to talk to the assistant of the person. They want to talk to the person.
That's true.
So it's probably very important that you're hitting as many of those doors as possible.
As possible.
Because they don't want to talk to your volunteers. They want to talk to you.
Exactly.
Now, don't get me wrong. Your volunteers are awesome and need as many of them as possible.
They do a great job.
You haven't figured out a way to split yourself and be in three places at once yet.
It would help. And that's what's so good about my volunteers is, they've been with me for all these years that I've been working and they know exactly where I stand on platforms and they know exactly what I want to accomplish and they're going to be right there with me. And that's the best part of this is my team. I'm not an expert in oil. I'm not an expert in law. But I know who to call. If I know who to call about construction or, whatever's going on in education.
Using the resources.
That's exactly it. And that's what this position should be is representing those people.
Well, and I believe, and I think many Americans believe, and I quite frankly believe the Constitution believes, our legislatures, whether it's state, whether it's the U.S. legislature, whatever, that's not a career position.
Right.
I mean, the U.S. Congress has turned into a career position. Many of our state has turned into a career position. Financially, I don't see how they pull that off, but anyway, that's another.
That's a whole.
State reps don't get paid that much, in case you haven't noticed,
at all.
Or senators for that matter, but anyway, but to your point, they should be experts at whatever their profession is, whether they come from the ranching community or oil and gas or legal or whatever it is, but that's. you come from medical healthcare industry.
Oh, if there's aging and questions or issues that are coming up, or nursing homes, I know that. And that's my thing. And
that's because, let's face it, we know New Mexico's healthcare is screwed up as a lot of other issues here too.
Yeah.
I mean, is that because of where you come from? Is there a little bit more special place there, or is it kind of like there's so many things here? I don't have a.
Well, and I because I work in hospice and I work in home care, and I see a lot of need, for reform at the state level with nursing homes and the way that we provide for those people and the way that we provide for our veterans, because I also run the veterans program at hospice, and I see what these people need, and that's something that I want to be able to provide and bring awareness to, because everybody focuses on oil and gas and this and that, and we have people that need to be taken care of.
And you're seeing families in their homes and their last moments of life, and you're thinking, man, this shouldn't be this way.
Exactly. And our nurses need to be taken care of, because our hospice nurses, they're first responders too.
Absolutely.
And we get calls and people are in their last moments, and our nurses are there immediately. So we need to make sure that we're providing for them, in the right way. I know there's a couple of bills that have made it hard for our nurses at hospice to not be able to pronounce a death in a nursing home, and it's our patient.
Wow.
So we need that fixed so that we can take care of our patients to the very end.
Well, the families are going through enough. The last thing you want to do is drag it out with a technicality or a clerical issue.
Right. You're exactly right. That's exactly it.
But I imagine that gives you a unique perspective here. When you as a representative in Santa Fe, you've been in those rooms with those families and see those moments, and there's probably people that need to hear that sit in some of those chambers up there.
Yeah. And I'm an advocate. Working for hospice, that absolutely makes me an advocate. Right now, I'm running the volunteer program and the veterans program. So I have to be able to know what people need. And if they can't speak for themselves, I have to be able to figure out how to get them provided for. And that, I think that's going to carry on a long way whenever it comes to listening to people and knowing exactly what they want.
Sure. What's been the fun side of this so far? I imagine, it's been hard work, and there's probably days you feel like you didn't attain or get as far as you wanted to. But I imagine there's got to be a lot of moments that the days when you do feel frustrated or feel like, what the heck am I doing? Something happens or some experience, and you're like, what, this is exactly why I'm doing this. Give me some of those moments.
It was a group chat with my girls yesterday, and I woke up for the first time really nervous, and it was like the nerves just were right there.
Was it one of those, man, I'm running for help?
Like, what am I doing?
I get you.
Well, yeah, I was right there.
We all have those. You're like, what am I, crazy?
Yeah, I woke up and thought, am I really a grown-up? Am I doing it, And I got a call, and one of my girls, she said, oh, I've been out at this church talking to this person, and I've been at this person. They're so excited for the campaign, and they're ready, and things like that. Whenever we go out door knocking or we go to an event and people are coming up to us and they're excited, that's the best part of this. Or if I get a phone call and say, oh, this person said they voted for you because they heard you speak at this forum, or that is the best part of this, for people to be excited.
Sure.
Because so many people come up to us and they don't know what's going on, don't know what to do, but for them to be ready to take action and get out and vote and then follow up with us, that's what's really cool about this.
So maybe, we get more and more people, and win, lose, or draw tomorrow, you've got people, engaged and involved. And
this doesn't stop tomorrow either way.
Yeah.
I've been working on this for a couple of years now, and it's not going to stop.
Sure. Well, I never thought you'd disappear after tomorrow here, but, but at the same time, too, it's one of these things where say you do go at the representative spot.
Oh, watch out.
Well, but someone needs to come up in your shoes too, because let's face it, Change Course New Mexico, what they do and that doesn't go away tomorrow just because you become a state rep.
Right.
So in essence, not only are you trying to move forward, but kind of grooming the next generation to keep these, because let's face it, say you get in there and able to do there's going to be times where organizations like Change Course are going to be needed to remind people on how things should be and stuff like that.
And that's what I hope that people realize is, I started out knowing nothing. 3 years ago, I went to my first school board meeting. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know.
Sure.
But in this time, I've built a following, and I've built, this organization, and I'm not nothing special.
Sure.
So we need people like this all over the place. So if you want to make a change, you start in your backyard.
I love that, and that's something. Personally, me just telling you this is what I wish we had more community members that did this type of thing. It's especially at the levels we're talking about, the levels you're working at, local and state levels. This is how government should be.
Yeah,
this is the people that should be running this and making the decisions are the people that live here, work here, have their lives here.
Yeah.
And it's not meant for outsiders to come in to dictate that kind of thing. And unfortunately, with the world getting smaller, we're getting more of that, not less of that. And so places like here that are rural and no one looked two ways toward us, now we're suddenly in play. And so the slicky boys are coming in and with their hot suits and highfalutin dollars and polished up, sales pitches, and they're doing their shtick.
And that's a little bit of a compliment to us because we have a lot to offer.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we need to use that and for the people of Roswell first.
Sure.
And this position that I'm trying to take that I'll win tomorrow, this is just Roswell, and
Sure.
it's just Chavez County. And I'm from Chavez County. I've lived here my whole life. My parents lived here. My grandparents, my great-grandparents, my kids live here, so I want Roswell.
You're not going anywhere.
Not going
you got
anywhere.
Too many roots in this dirt here.
That's exactly it. And we have the potential to do a lot. We have Graves Farm, we have Pirtle Farm, and we could give them contracts to supply the schools with food.
Sure.
Let's build some production around here.
Sure.
We've got the air races
I
coming
was about to say,
in.
now this is kind of new. As a rep, you're going to be playing a lot in that. What's kind of some of your thoughts on the air race stuff?
We've been excited about that for a while. Change Course had Mike out to speak about the air races when it was a brand new idea.
Mhm.
So we love to see stuff like that. I would love to see expansion going on.
Continue supporting and fostering for success there.
Absolutely. And let's produce something to make these people want to come here.
And our legislators did a great job of doing that fight.
Absolutely.
And that truly was bipartisan. Everywhere
Mhm.
from the governor down to our local conservative reps
Yeah.
here, we're working hand in hand to
Everybody
make
did.
that happen.
The city, everybody
Yeah.
put so much work into it.
That actually was a good bipartisan thing that happened.
Yes,
So,
that's the kind of stuff when you want to go bipartisan, that's the kind of stuff I'll do, The rest of it, but that absolutely.
Yeah.
Anytime we can bring something positive to the
Sure.
state.
Well, and I think people it's kind of nice to see opposites work together.
Absolutely. That's what people want.
And that's something we do forget at the end of the day. We are all Americans. We're all New Mexicans.
Same team.
We're all
Yes.
wanting a great thing, and we all want that. If we can start there, then this can get a lot better. It's like, look, we're all here to make this better. We may not agree on exactly what that looks like, but we all want our families to have an amazing future in this state.
Yeah, we want to build a legacy.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to encourage people to do. And, it's like that with every issue that I face, whether it be, because I get a lot of pushback for being pro-life. And I don't think people realize what that looks like is I'm not anti something, I'm pro-life on every level, whether it be from birth to the aging to
if you've been conceived, you have a right to
exactly.
live.
And I want people to be proud of that and build that legacy and produce something, and there's places like the Pregnancy Resource Center and the Lily Pad. I don't know if you've heard of the Lily Pad, but they've built a program to where they can keep mothers and their children for 18 months.
Okay.
And, that's the kind of things I want to promote.
Support the things that are pro-family.
Yes.
Not
So we
pro
can
breaking up family.
build things here in New Mexico and stop exporting our kids. Our kids leave, and I'm sick of hearing that.
Well, you're absolutely right. We and that's something that you look at our industry. Our college, our various other business partners here. They do work the EDC. That's something that we do have people that work on that, but we do need a lot more to offer say why Southeast New Mexico is a place that you want to raise a family and keep your and I get young because we were all young. I mean, look. I grew up in Maryland and D.C. I didn't exactly end up staying in my hometown either.
Right. No, yeah.
Of course, the United States military sent me here. My wife finished that one off. But, but Uncle Sam doesn't really. You don't get a say in where they.
You don't. That's True story. And my 3 kids are still here, which I love. You know, I've got one daughter at Leprino and then one at Pioneer, and my son, he just started his own small business, so it can be done.
Do you get a lot of cheese by having family at Leprino?
I don't, and I'm kind of disappointed.
I'm going to say, don't get you hook up with the cheese.
I don't, and I'm going to mention that to her.
I'm going to say, it's like, I got a cheese connection here.
Yeah,
I got to utilize this.
Yeah, no, and I'm going to remember that.
Yeah, or at least some of the whey part,
any of it,
the supplement stuff.
Yeah.
You know, but anyway, So let me ask you this. Say you get elected tomorrow. You're going to Santa Fe for your first. What's your passion projects? What are some of the things that kind of early into your term that you want to address?
Production is a big thing for me, and I think we need to incentivize that here in New Mexico. You see Made in America stickers. Let's incentivize New Mexico production with a Made in New Mexico stamp. And that way we can promote small businesses and then encourage more to come in. And I think if we can incentivize that, then we'll be able to grow a lot more than just the industries that are not stagnant, but we know are going to be here, like oil and stuff.
Sure.
We know that, but let's bring in some more. So I really want to encourage production. That's a big thing for me. And I also, with this referendum, I'd like to build a network across the state so that if there are bills that are egregious and they are passed like this and we want to put them up for a referendum, let's do it and make it a little bit easier.
Get the people's voices on
exactly
some of these.
And give people a way to take action.
Well, and I think New Mexicans, if you spend any kind of time in New Mexico, you know that New Mexico as a state doesn't seem to be the most business friendly as compared to our neighbors. I mean, you see Arizona, Utah, Colorado, Texas all thriving in these areas, and then we sit right in the middle in some kind of opposite of oasis in the desert,
weird.
the desert and the oasis here on some of that stuff. So, and that's at state level. That's really where we're having those issues. So,
that's exactly it.
So it seems like that's kind of where you want to start first. Is hey, let's work on that and get the things that encourage business to come here and to be here and to set up shop here and made in New Mexico and take pride in that, encourage businesses to come here and encourage our home businesses to be New Mexican and go outside the borders with it.
And you see the things that are coming up that are a little bit radical, like the paid family leave, and that would hurt small business so much. So why can't the state step in and provide some type of maybe health insurance and incentivize those small businesses so they can offer that to employees? Because I know small businesses have a hard time keeping full-time employees because they can't offer the benefits that the bigger places can.
Sure.
So if we could incentivize and help those small businesses out, they could get some people staying.
Well, and this is where you
longer.
get tax breaks and things.
Exactly.
If a business is able to, provide more health care, more things, and the government should step in at the state level in this particular case and say, you know what, since you're doing that for the people, we're not going to tax you as much on that. That's where these incentives come in. And, and I'm talking very rudimentary on this surface, but that's in essence what you're talking about here is getting in there and saying, hey, your company is doing this to promote jobs, to promote growth in our community. Thank you for doing that. For that, we're going to lower your taxes so you can keep providing those services to your business,
And these businesses like, Rhodes Company, they have an apprenticeship program. So if they can get these guys in straight out of high school, train them for 2 years, then they have a journeyman's license.
Sure.
That's huge. Let's give Rhodes something, to keep that program and to build that. J&G does the same thing. And, we have so many things that we could, boost around here.
And that's done on a private level here with our college here and partnering with Crumlin. They did their deal. And so... But to get the state involved in some of that would probably be to promote its own things.
Absolutely.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So what's or I just saw the time here. What's been the ugly? What's been the part of this that you kind of has really made you upset or maybe you didn't quite anticipate?
It's hard to hear that. And I know the political ads and the texts and all that is annoying and the mailers and, people get upset about that. But, we are really trying to just educate the community and get people involved.
Gotcha.
And that's kind of sometimes hard to take. We see the responses coming back and people are mad because we're texting them. What are we supposed to do?
Right.
You know what I mean? Grant us a little bit of grace when we knock on your door. It's hot. We're sweating. And it's not all the time, but it is hard to take sometimes. And we're just trying to do what's best.
Sure. And I get, people I'm home, just got home from work or whatever it is, and tired. But be cordial at least. And just
Please,
say, hey,
if you're not interested, just say no, thank you. You don't
have to answer the door.
You don't.
If you don't want to engage, then don't answer the door.
Yeah.
But if you do open the door, be polite, take the information, and then do with it what you deem best.
Or tell me, just know that, and you win some, you lose some.
Sure.
You can't win them all.
Sure.
But
then there's probably times where you get a few that maybe were a little not your side. And by the end of the conversation, you're at least understanding each other.
And that's why we knock on every door. You know what I mean? It's not, we don't just go to those that we know are Republican voters. And
that's back to my point, really, I think if people focused on the common instead of the uncommon, there's probably find out there's more that you do agree on.
Right.
And, we look at like New Mexico. Yes. You want to label things liberal, conservative, yes, we're a very democratic state and things, but I think if you peel back the layers, I don't think that's the case. I think it's a very family value state. It's a very,
very traditional.
I don't know the whole numbers here, but I'm going to say we're probably Hispanic is our largest percentage of population of this state. And just knowing from Hispanic culture, and again, I'm being stereotyping here, but it's generally a family, very family-centric culture.
Very traditional, very conservative.
Which does garner more conservative values. So I think even your Democrats in this state, when you start not getting out of circles in Santa Fe, but getting into just neighborhoods and people, the label could be one or the other. But I really feel what you find important are the same things.
Yeah.
And you probably agree more than you disagree on.
If you just keep it real simple and get back to the basics.
Yeah.
We're all wanting the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
We're wanting New Mexico to grow.
Sure.
We're wanting our kids to stay here.
Yeah.
We're wanting to produce something, we all want to make our lifestyle nice and easy.
Sure.
And work hard doing that. And that's not a problem because there's hardworking people on both sides that feel like they don't have a representative. And there's not a Democrat in this race. So when I win tomorrow, I'll be representing both sides.
Sure.
And I hope people
as is
realize
every
that.
person that wins their election. That's the part we got to remind everybody that because you won, and even this is still primary, but a lot of these folks don't have a general election opponent here. Especially,
I don't.
I mean, the federal level, usually the House and the U.S. House on up, they do, but but much at the state rep and lounge levels, there's
I
not
think
a
there's
lot of
60 positions that are going unchallenged after the primary in New Mexico.
And that's
a lot.
That's sad. We should have
absolutely
debate.
And just so independents know, they can still get in till the 27th. I want everybody involved.
Absolutely. Well, that's how we get better.
Yeah,
that's how we get better.
That whenever we first started door knocking, that was our thing. Is we wanted to register every voter in Chaves County. So we knocked on every door, and I wasn't even campaigning for myself at this point. We just wanted people out voting.
Sure. So let's before we run out of time here, if people are listening, I know tomorrow is election day. You cannot early vote anymore. That ended on Saturday. But so if you did not early vote, please go to one of the convenient voting centers around town. I think there's 10 or 11 of them altogether around Chaves County here, and vote tomorrow.
Yep. Polls open at 7.
Polls open at 7. If you want more information hear about Tracy, what's the best way to kind of
people can call me 575-420-2353. I'm on Facebook. We're all over the place. We've been out at the churches and stuff, so call us, get a hold of us.
And of course, I know you do have your social media, Facebook, Tracy De La Rosa. You'll see all the for state rep, I believe is what it, if you look under there. And but if you live in District 59, if you're not sure, the clerk's office will tell you. You can call them, or you can go to I don't remember. It's a .gov website, but
nmvote.org.
There it is, and that you can see your whole voting history in New Mexico.
You can.
And everything.
And if you're not registered, you can still register.
You can still get that
and
done.
Independents can vote in this primary. They do have to switch their voter registration on the day to get their ballot to Republican. You can switch back right after.
Okay.
Because a lot of people don't like to associate. But if you want to vote you're declined to state on your registration, you can vote.
You can do that. So visit the clerk's office today, get that taken care of.
Yeah, or even the same day at any one of the voting locations.
Well, if you want to save a little time, get it knocked out today, and then you can just go hit your polling convenience center and
get
go
it out
and
of
do
the
your
way.
thing.
Yep.
Excellent. Is there anything you wanted to share that we missed or skipped?
No, I just want to encourage people to get out and vote. Even if you're not voting in my district, just make sure you get out there.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you for having me.
Whether you get elected or tomorrow or not.
When I get elected.
When you get elected tomorrow. But I do appreciate you as a concerned citizen getting involved.
Thank you.
And
thank you.
I wish we had more New Mexicans.
And thank you for supporting us. Everything we do, you've been there for us. So thank you.
Wow, that's what I do. I try to. Poorly or well. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, it is 7:55. Let's pause for a quick break. Guess what those are? Political ads. We got some of those coming up. Then we got news coming up. Don't go away.
Hey everyone, this is Pat Boone and I'm running for New Mexico State Senate. I'm a straightforward guy, so instead of promising the moon, I'm going to tell you what I won't do. I, Pat Boone, won't say negative or underhanded things about my opponents to win this election. I won't bend to every idea to get your vote. I will be steadfast to my conservative ideals. I won't even send you a robocall because I know everybody hates them. I will ask you for your consideration. Pat Boone for New Mexico State Senate.
Paid for by Pat Boone, Martin Pay Treasurer.
This is Chad Hamill, and I'm running to be your next senator for District 32. My opponent, Candy Azell, can't defend her 20-year record in the Santa Fe swamp, so she's attacking other people's families and kids on the radio. That's the difference in this race. Candy attacks other people's kids while I'm running to protect yours. And on my record, as a fire chief, I have seen the devastation of open borders. Fentanyl overdoses are out of control. As a small business owner here in the community, I know firsthand how politicians in Santa Fe have destroyed small businesses for our communities. As a previous school board member, I know local control has been ripped away from our schools. It is time for a change. The same old just isn't working. I will be your conservative voice in Santa Fe. Career politicians have gotten New Mexico into this mess, but as a firefighter, I've made my living running towards problems, and I'm ready to fix the problems. I humbly ask for your vote on June the 4th so we can put the fire out in Santa Fe. Paid for by Friends of Chad Hamill.
Attention Roswell and surrounding areas. Is your old car, truck, or SUV on life support?
Clear.
With new management and a whole new attitude, Roswell Ford makes trading up to a new Ford or quality pre-owned vehicle fast, fun, and easy. Upside down in your loan or stuck in your lease? Roswell Ford wants to get you released even if you owe thousands more than your trade is worth, regardless of make, miles, or condition. Right now, get huge savings with rates as low as 0% for 66 months and no payments until Labor Day. Plus, we have a great selection of low-mileage, one-owner pre-owned vehicles, all in prime condition, starting at just $10,000. Don't settle for a low-quality, overpriced clunker. Buy a quality pre-owned vehicle from Roswell Ford for a lot less. Worried about your credit? Don't sweat it. We've partnered with the most aggressive lenders that will push to approve you today, even with bad or no credit. Lower prices, exceptional trade-in values, and a better buying experience. Get on board at Roswell Ford, 821 North Main Street in beautiful Roswell, or online at roswellford.com. $1,515 per thousand finance on select new Ford models with approved credit.
Hello, this is State Senator Greg Nybert. As you know, I represent Chaves County in the State Senate for District 27. I've represented us in the legislature for 8 years. I'm asking for your vote so that I can continue to be your strong voice for Chaves County. It is important that you go vote. Voting in Chaves County has been light, and there are contested races on the ballot this year, so your vote is very important. Early voting ends Saturday, and Election Day is Tuesday, June 4th. As your state senator, I will continue to protect our Second Amendment rights, the right to life, our oil and gas industry, and our conservative Republican values. And I will, of course, do my best to bring economic development and growth to our community, as I did with the recently announced Reno air races. I humbly ask for your vote for Greg Nybert in the upcoming Republican primary so we can keep Chaves County strong. Please go vote early this week. Election Day is Tuesday, June 4th.
Paid for by Greg Nybert for State Senate.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Slugs have 4 noses, but no fingers to pick them. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 7:59. Stay tuned next hour. Here about 8:15 or so, we'll have the folks from Galacticon give us an update on what they've got going on there. Of course, and then in the 9 o'clock hour, we'll talk with the folks from Roswell Seed. Real quick, I do want to mention, I don't have a lot of time, but real quick, The folks at the Gonzalez Hope Center are putting together blessing bags for the summer for homeless folks, and they're needing items to put in that bag to get through the summer. Things like, obviously, water bottles, reusable ones, deodorant, sunscreen, lip balm with the SPF, cooling towels, shampoo, conditioner, socks. They're putting it together to help navigate through that. If you'd like to help out, please contact Jocelyn 575-208-9509 or look for the Gonzalez Hope Center on Facebook. You can help out there.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Firefighters reporting significant progress on a wildfire. It has scorched 22 square miles in the San Francisco Bay area.
California officials say the Corral Fire, burning near Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory east of San Francisco, is a little over 14,000 acres and 50% contained. The fire erupted Saturday in the grassy hills west of Tracy and destroyed one house. Thousands of people in the area were evacuated. Cal Fire says weather conditions became more favorable, allowing crews to make progress on control lines. Evacuation orders have been downgraded to evacuation warnings, with residents advised to remain vigilant. A Lawrence Livermore Lab spokesman said the wildfire presented no threat to lab facilities and had moved away from the site. I'm Jennifer King.
House Republicans expected to come down hard on Dr. Anthony Fauci, the former head of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, testifying today on Capitol Hill. Fauci goes before the House Select Subcommittee on the coronavirus pandemic. Lawmakers are set to grill him on allegations of a range of misconduct under his watch during the pandemic. It will be Fauci's first congressional testimony in almost 2 years. Jury selection beginning today in Hunter Biden's trial on firearms charges in Delaware.
In this case, Hunter Biden becomes the first child of a sitting U.S. president to be a criminal defendant. He has pleaded not guilty to lying about his drug use in 2018 in order to buy a gun. If convicted on all charges, he faces up to 25 years in prison.
White House correspondent Greg Clugston. History has been made in Mexico's presidential election. The country will have its first female president following an election that was also notable for all of the violence surrounding the balloting. Watching Wall Street, the Dow is down 27 points, while the Nasdaq is 129 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free and will even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
Accusing British intelligence of recruiting a couple who worked for the Chinese government to spy for the UK. In a report, Chinese intelligence claims the couple was convinced to defect.
The report adds that Mr. Wang had a strong desire for money and was offered large sums and security if he served the British government. It's alleged that after espionage training, MI6 ordered Mr. Wang to return to China to collect information related to the Chinese government. Beijing and London have long traded accusations of spying, but in recent months both have started to disclose details of alleged individual cases.
The BBC's Laura Bicker. 2 Japanese F-35A stealth fighter jets have had to make an emergency landing at a commercial airport in northern Japan, but there have been no reports of injuries or damage. Airport officials say the jets were on a training flight and landed safely at the airport, which was nearby. News and analysis, townhall.com. There is opposition in Mississippi to a proposal to house unaccompanied illegal alien children, a couple of former casino hotels.
Tunica County Board of Supervisors voting against issuing a letter of support. There had been strong opposition to the plan from Mississippi's Republican state officials and the local sheriff. An attorney working for the company that wants to reuse the vacant hotels says a letter of support from the county would have been a critical part of the company's proposal to the federal government. Hotels were part of Harris Casino Complex, which closed in 2014. Jason Walker reporting.
It's too little, too late. That's how House Speaker Mike Johnson describes any action that President Biden might take that's aimed at securing the southern border. Mr. Biden reportedly set to sign an executive order on border security this week. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2.
The Deuce.
Of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell Talk FM. Happy Monday, everybody.
Yes.
Welcome to it.
Indeed.
Hope your Monday's going well. Going to be a warm one this week.
100 and something all week long.
The week of the 1-0s all week. But beginning like Thursday through the weekend, we've got like 20% chances of rain every hour.
Neat.
Of course, that could change by then.
Yeah, of course. It is card subject to change around here.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Of course, hopefully they're not Texas isn't getting what they got this past week. Next week.
Yeah. That was a scary little group of storms.
Crazy. Matter of fact, because I was looking, what was it, about 2 weeks ago when the bridge got hit in Galveston? I was kind of like, oh, I wonder if that, but it doesn't sound like. It sounded like that was like going to one island that one group of people lived on, and that was their only way to get to and fro off that island was that one bridge. So other than them, I think everyone else was there.
My buddy Ronnie was there in Houston, like during that swath of storms that went through.
Yeah, here last week.
And he said you would just drive downtown, and the buildings just looked like had polka dots from all the windows that had been blown out.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Jeez.
Like the big skyscrapers or whatever.
Yeah,
they just had little dots as you kind of looked up. So just craziness.
Hope there's none of that one I'm going to there. But, so I was going to watch the new Ghostbusters movie this weekend.
It's not free anywhere.
Well, you can rent it.
You can rent it. In fact, Misty and Will rented it.
Did they?
They did.
Are they rich?
I don't know.
Because I was going to rent it.
I'm wondering why bother, because it's just going to show up at some point.
Like Kim and I were going to watch it, and I was willing to rent it. Normally, if it's like, usually when I do it, though, it's like $5 to rent it.
Yeah.
They wanted $20 to rent it.
$20 to rent?
And I said no.
No.
Yeah, I said no. So I didn't watch
God. Yeah, well, because he had said they bought it, and I'm wondering
it would have been cheaper to buy it, I think.
Maybe they bought it.
And I know some people like to buy digital copies of things, which I don't quite get, but that's...
I like having physical media. I prefer physical media.
I mean, actually buying a DVD, I'm not talking about that. I mean the digital version of it that you own. I'm like, do you really own it?
No, you don't, because as soon as that service loses the rights to that programming,
you don't have it anymore.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Which is why this weekend I went and played my copy of Idiocracy on DVD.
Did you get her?
Oh, it was great. It's just so much fun to go back and rewatch that movie.
Yeah.
There's parts you completely forget about.
I'm due for a watching.
It's so good.
Yeah, I usually just catch it when it shows up on a service somewhere. I'm like, oh, there it is. Let's watch it.
It's astonishing what you couldn't get away with today that movie got away with in 2005.
I know. So much has changed.
You're reminded of when the movie was made because it's 500 years in the future and it's 2505. So this is 2005 all over it.
Yeah.
And Stephen Root is the judge. God, just such Jason. What's his face? Not Jason. Doggone it, the guy who played Apple guy in the Apple commercials. As the doctor. Your ish is all messed up.
Yeah.
You talk like just all that stuff.
What's his name?
Yeah.
Picture his face.
I have to Google him.
He was in Accepted. He was in Dodgeball.
He's been in a bunch of stuff.
All those movies.
People are screaming at the radios now.
I can't remember his name. Yeah. I can't even do the jokes he did in it because they're not appropriate for the lexicon.
Not Tim Cook.
No.
Go ahead.
He was in Waiting. All those movies.
Yeah, I know.
Like in the 90s and early 2000s.
Justin Long.
Justin
God
Long.
bless.
Thank you. Yeah, I can remember his name.
Oh, I need to say something. Google had such a good thing going for like 2 decades. They were a great search engine. You type something in, it brought up your information right away. Eventually, they got those little bubbles that, would use Wikipedia. And sure, sometimes the information would be wrong. It is downright unusable now.
Is it?
Because of the stupid AI. Everybody has to inject AI into their thing now. That's the Bitcoin of this year.
Right.
And it makes it so much worse because AI generated answers are dumb. It pulls answers from everywhere. Somebody a couple of weeks ago Googled the question, how do I get my cheese to stick on my pizza, my pizza? And Google AI suggested, based on a tweet from 15 years ago that somebody was trolling, suggested adding half a cup of non-toxic school glue to your sauce in order to get the cheese to stick better.
Hey, if people did that, that's what I call thinning the herd.
Somebody Googled, how many rocks should I eat per day? And the Google AI answer popped up with, doctors suggest you eat at least one small rock per day. And that answer was pulled from The Onion. It couldn't delineate between a satire website and legitimate information.
Thin in the herd, baby.
AI is broken.
Some of you people need to listen to everything it says. Just thin the herd.
It's so frustrating to me. I used to love Google for the sheer fact of the is-was game.
Yeah.
And now who knows? Who knows if they're actually telling me the right information?
I guess I'm stupid because I'm just can you still just hey, what time does the restaurant open? Can you do that without getting an AI?
Well, see, every time you type in a question, it brings up the AI overview, essentially. And so for the first, this much of the page, it's AI suggests this. And then it's sponsored links. So you have to scroll for a good solid 30 seconds to get down to legitimate websites or answers to your questions now.
Okay.
But the first 2/3 of the first page is just garbage.
I just really haven't searched for things, I guess. I don't know. I'm not.
You're not a common Googler?
I guess I'm not. No, I don't. I don't Google that often. So
yeah, it's very frustrating.
I think people Google me. I just say things and then people start Googling after I say it.
And now I guess Alexa is they're adding AI into that. And apparently they're going to charge people to use the AI Alexa.
Oh, yeah?
I'm like, you couldn't get me to do it for free.
Right.
I'm definitely not going to pay you for the right to mine my information. Thanks. I know I'm starting to sound like old man yells at cloud, but God, I hate
Actually,
AI.
No,
and no, I'm not talking about
agree with
Allen
everything.
Iverson. He was an amazing basketball player. But
I agree with everything you say.
It's just so frustrating.
But I'm more crotchety than you are. So.
That's true. Well, no, yours is, what's this AI everybody's talking? I don't know why I give you that accent.
We all do when we're angry. We talk like that.
I was talking to my couple friends the other day. It's just so funny when somebody is describing something that their partner says It's always with this voice. It's like, I know for a fact that neither one of you sound like that.
Yes.
You could at least put a little effort into your, into your parody. I'm asking too much.
Now you got me thinking. I want to hear like a famous, I don't know, Kennedy or Lincoln speech, but they're doing it like
7 years ago, our forefathers brought forth on this continent a new nation. It just all sounds so sarcastic.
That's what I can think. Just, like everyone doing it, and just like just the most famous of things, and just do it. Even like famous movie lines and everything else. Just do it in that.
You remember when Kennedy said, "Ask not what you can't, what you give for you, but ask you if you can't."
This should be a TikTok trend. This should be a TikTok trend.
There you go. Historical quotes read as disgruntled partners. And he was like, "Ask not what you can't, what you give for you." And they was like, "First girl 7 years ago."
I like this.
That's great.
This is good.
Yeah, I like this. It's fun. And she's all, "Let them eat cake." And so we chopped her head off.
You know, that reminded me. I was scrolling through X yesterday, just because I do, you know. And somebody, I'm going to assume they're younger, finally just finished watching The Sopranos. And they were talking like, I just finished Sopranos. I'm having a TV void. What should you recommend next? I'm like, well, considering you're only in like, you're about 20 years behind TV, there's a whole lot people can recommend.
Have you heard about this Breaking Bad? I mean, there's a great crime drama that recently came out you might want to check out called The Wire.
Yeah.
Oh, just fantastic modern viewing.
Have you heard of this movie called Wizard of Oz?
Casablanca, gonna blow your mind. And they were in prison on the final episode of Seinfeld, by the way. Spoiler alert. It's still to this day one of my least favorite series finales ever. The Seinfeld finale.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't even that big of a Seinfeld fan until like the later seasons. I mean, I was a little kid.
Well, and Seinfeld was one of those things that you had real Seinfeld fans, but they were popular enough where people had to say they like Seinfeld, even though they probably watched like one episode.
It was Friends.
Yeah.
It was basically Friends for that. It was Friends before Friends came along. But that last episode is just, and they filmed it without a studio audience, which is why there's no laugh track at the end.
Right.
But that slow fade back while they're all just sitting in the prison cell and having a general conversation they have all the time.
To me, for a show like that, it was a good ending. Like, because since it's a show about nothing anyway, it kind of is apropos for me. Like Sopranos ticked me off. They give you all this story, they bring you down these different tropes, all this stuff, and then they fade to black on you.
Do you think it's just because they didn't want to finish paying for Don't Stop Believing?
Maybe.
They just didn't want to pay for the whole song, so we're going to cut it at 2:30.
You know, there's dumber reasons out there than that to do it. So yeah, it's very plausible. But whereas Seinfeld, it's the jokes, everything. Like you could literally pick any episode of Seinfeld and start watching and be into it. Where Sopranos, you can't get in the middle of season 3, episode 5, and you'd be totally lost.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean. Where Seinfeld's not like that.
No, Seinfeld is one of those you could pop in any episode. It's literally that's what the whole nothing concept is.
To me, that finale kind of fit it.
It sort of was like, well, they could start the next episode and just all be back in the apartment.
Yeah, exactly. They could pick it up.
I guess I haven't looked at it from that perspective. It just seemed unsatisfying.
Sure.
As a
I would say
finale.
it's unsatisfying as the rest of the show was. Because every episode, even it's funny and you're entertained, there's a bit of cringe, a bit of ooginess. Like, what did I just watch?
Well, that's how I feel every time I watch Curb, though.
Well, Curbed is the R-rated version of Seinfeld to me.
It's Larry David's, inside Larry David's
they
brain.
can get a little risque with the jokes because it's on HBO. That's the only difference to me, And it is missing some of Jerry's cornyism, where that Pop-Tarts movie has got all that in it.
Yeah, it's got a lot of that Seinfeld wit.
That's where you can see Seinfeld humor versus Larry David's, where it's the same awkward situation, but Seinfeld goes into nostalgia, into song, into where Larry David just let's just
put it
on another
let's just
level.
Fall
of
forward and film what happens.
Let's turn up the awkward times 7.
We're just going to fall face first into whatever happens in this situation.
Yeah. So, but anyway, I heard the door going.
Yes.
I think our guest.
The door went off.
I heard a door that time. So, is it Elaine?
Yes.
Elaine Mayfield with Galacticon going to join us here in just a few. Give us an update what's happening there as we get closer and closer. Now officially, like a month away. Mm-hmm. We're officially in June now. Can officially say that we're in June. So we'll get an update from Elaine here in just a few. Also, we'll get you update with news of local variety, Wall Street business update, and whatever else we can come up with for this hour of the show. But first, let's take a gander at your weather.
Weather is brought to you by Bob Reed Pest Control. From general pest control, termite control, trees, shrubs, and yard treatment for both residential and commercial. Call the pest management professionals at Bob Reed Pest Control, 575-623-5344.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Sunny and hot for the next couple of days. Upper level high pressure overhead will hit about 100 for the afternoon high today, maybe a little bit over, and wind gusting at 20 to 30 miles an hour. Overnight looks clear. We'll cool off into the upper 60s, still a little bit breezy, and then more heat coming up on Tuesday. Afternoon highs 100 to 105, and we'll be getting sunshine hot again on Wednesday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 76 degrees. I'm sorry. It's 8 in the morning. It shouldn't be already close to 80. It's just not right. But anyway, it is what it is. 76 here in Roswell. Humidity is at 12%. So don't be throwing butts out the window. Cigarette butts. Or your other butt, for that matter, either. Winds out of the southeast at 5 miles per hour. Sunny and 102, the expected high today. Winds will be out of the northwest. 10 to 15 miles per hour. Tonight, clear skies with an overnight low of 67 degrees. West winds at around 15 miles per hour. Tuesday, mostly sunny, 104 our high tomorrow. That's starting to sound like Phoenix. Winds will be out of the northwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, overnight low of 70, north winds 5 to 15. Wednesday, sunny, 100. A little bit cooler on Wednesday, down to 100. Winds will be out of the north at 10 miles per hour. And then Thursday through the weekend, at least right now, we've got like a 20% chance of rain every afternoon. Thursday, we're looking at a 20% chance of afternoon showers. Otherwise sunny, hot, 104. 20% chance of showers for Friday afternoon, mostly sunny, 100. Saturday, we're looking at a 20% chance at afternoon showers and thunderstorms, mostly sunny and 103. And then a 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms for the afternoon on Sunday, mostly sunny, 99. So at least we'll get rain chances beginning Thursday. Maybe an afternoon shower thunderstorm there to make it a little humid with your hot. If it hits the ground. Yeah, that's the thing. We got to make sure it actually gets and penetrates dirt. All right, it is 22 minutes after 8. We're going to take a 4-minute break here, and then Elaine Mayfield will join us talking Galacticon. Don't go away.
This is State Senator Bill Scherer, the senior Republican in the State Senate. My voting record is ranked as the most conservative in the Senate. I want to tell you about my conservative Republican friend, Greg Nybert. I strongly endorse Senator Greg Nybert and urge you to support him as well. Behind the scenes in Santa Fe, Greg is a strategist and a tactician who helps our side defeat the progressive agenda. We desperately need him to help us fight MLG's agenda. Greg is the only Republican lawyer in the state Senate, and we cannot stop bad leftist legislation without him. That is just one of the reasons it is crucial you turn out to vote in this election for Greg Nybert. He is the conservative leader that New Mexico needs. Please vote for Greg Nybert in the upcoming Republican primary for State Senate.
Paid for by Greg Nybert for State Senate.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Grab a frosty mug and try the newest flavor from Bluebell, A&W Root Beer Float Ice Cream. A creamy vanilla-flavored ice cream swirled together with an A&W Root Beer flavored sherbet. A new way to enjoy your favorite root beer float.
The good old days are being made right now. The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at Walgreens stores and Albertsons United Supermarkets.
Every person listening to this ad right now will agree we as a nation are facing an uncertain future. We're at a crossroads. The status quo has failed us. We've got to fight. We've got to take back what we have lost. With your vote, you can join this fight. We can no longer squander our vote and our voice as if we're voting in a high school popularity contest. Nor can we continue electing self-serving politicians that claim to fight for you while making backroom deals that have facilitated the erosion of your liberties while destroying our livelihoods. My association with various different grassroots organizations, patriot groups, and activists has led to statewide citizen participation efforts to initiate grand jury investigations and the referendum of historically egregious laws. Similar efforts are being planned. These efforts will continue far into the future. We have within our reach the tools and weapons we need to end this tyranny and stop the assault on our faith, our liberties, and our way of life. We have the God-given authority to take back what we have lost. If you vote for Larry Marker, you're not voting for me, you're voting for we.
Paid for by the committee to elect Larry Marker.
This is Chad Hamill, and I'm running to be your next senator for District 32. My opponent, Candy Azell, can't defend her 20-year record in the Santa Fe swamp, so she's attacking other people's families and kids on the radio. That's the difference in this race. Candy attacks other people's kids while I'm running to protect yours. And on my record, as a fire chief, I have seen the devastation of open borders. Fentanyl overdoses are out of control. As a small business owner here in the community, I know firsthand how politicians in Santa Fe have destroyed small businesses for our communities. As a previous school board member, I know local control has been ripped away from our schools. It is time for a change. The same old just isn't working. I will be your conservative voice in Santa Fe. Career politicians have gotten New Mexico into this mess, but as a firefighter, I've made my living running towards problems, and I'm ready to fix the problems. I humbly ask for your vote on June the 4th so we can put the fire out in Santa Fe. Paid for by Friends of Chad Hamill.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Sigmund Freud once believed that cocaine could be used to help treat a morphine addiction. Mike used bacon to get over his addiction to beef. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 26 minutes after 8 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning, Elaine Mayfield back with us talking Galacticon, which
talking UFO Festival today.
UFO Festival,
big
and
hat.
the whole
big
umbrella
hat.
that is the UFO Festival weekend.
Yeah.
She will be hanging out at Galacticon that weekend.
Right, and we kind of talked about that last week, and we probably will for the next 4 weeks.
Yeah.
But I do want to do kind of an overall view of what we're doing.
Well, and that's what this year's, as we mentioned last time you were on, and every time we've been on, and we talk about the UFO Festival is multiple entities putting on different aspects of the UFO Festival, and there's one-stop shop, the website and everything, that's kind of a overall umbrella of everything UFO Festival related.
Right, and we did this for several years, about 3-4 years ago, maybe more. That it kind of went, the city started doing more and more as they were pushing it. But I call it a coalition. It's a coalition of the entities. Most of us have been in it for 20 years.
Everyone's, these are new to the UFO Festival. They just kind of taken over more roles into their niche of it.
Right.
Of thing,
We like to respect the different areas. There's basically 4 large entities, and that would be the UFO Museum.
Sure, and that's the history, the research, the
speakers,
the people, the abductees, and people that have UFO encounters.
I'm going to say kind of the serious side.
Yeah, the
maybe.
library, the history, the actual education side of aliens and
their
all that.
contribution, not only going through the museum, but is the Speakers Bureau, which they have
meeting
every year.
people like the Fire in the Sky guy, people that Travis Walton, people that actually, that's all UFO museum.
And those
side
people,
of things.
you've seen them on TV.
Sure.
You listen to their talks.
I've
and everything.
interviewed a couple times, and like Travis, I swear, I mean, just interviewing him, you can tell he's a man that's seen something. You know what I mean? Like talking to him, and he's funny. He's quite funny. I mean, he was cracking jokes at one time, and I'm like, because of his personality, I'm like, like I didn't know to laugh or to be, but it was funny. You know, he's pretty witty dude, but there's just something. Like
Absolutely.
he's experienced trauma in some way, shape, or form, and you know,
absolutely,
what I mean?
and I do definitely respect that side, and know many of those people, and worked with many of those people over the year. Peter Robbins is a good friend.
The science behind some of that is not explainable. Like if you go to where Travis in Arizona, where the abductions happened and all that, like the trees in that area, like scientifically aren't the same size. There's impact from that stuff there, and they have no earthly explanation on how that happened.
And I think people accept or deny to their comfort level, and that's fine.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Sure.
But that's kind of the serious side of it.
Yeah, that's all the museum, and that's where they do.
And then there's the second entity would be Main Street Roswell, which for years ran that, and then went to the city running it more, and that's gone on. I've been involved with this 20 years, probably more than anybody's still working on it.
I think it changes hands every few years.
It does. Every few years, you cycle it and try this and stuff. Which is great. I mean, we want to grow. We want to keep it moving and changing.
Absolutely. They evolve.
You can't be stagnant.
New people with new ideas.
Yeah.
And you gotta outdo yourself from the year before, or you're not doing it right.
So Main Street, although Main Street has taken the lead on several aspects,
has to.
They're
kind of the glue that holds that keeps the entities together.
Right. Somebody has to order trash cans and
they're kind of
restrooms
kind of the ones serving as the Sherpa between everybody.
Right.
Here. Yeah.
And so they do the downtown, and there's some good changes this year to that, and I'll get in that in a minute. And then we have at the Convention Center, we have the Roswell Galacticon. We do kind of a merchandise hall, which in the lingo is merch. We do the merch. And
the collectibles.
Right, collectibles and the cosplay, the sci-fi stuff.
The fun side, or the like over at the museum, that's serious. That's, people with life experiences, things like that. They're a little apprehensive of people in the foil hats and the the googly eyes and all that stuff. Galacticon, come get your googly eye on.
Main Street, come get your googly eye. Yeah, absolutely. They actually have a table where they can make foil hats for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's the
whole
fun
cultural aspect,
family, the cartoon side,
and pushing Roswell.
Absolutely,
and that's what they're for. Main Street is to support the business.
Yeah,
so that's where a lot of the business.
This is the Black
side.
Friday for our Main Street businesses.
Oh, absolutely.
All those these downtown businesses, your coffee shops, your boutiques and specialty shops. This is where they have wall-to-wall traffic for 2 to 3 days there.
Absolutely.
And a lot
Christmas
of times,
in July.
Yeah, this is their Black Friday. This is where they make their nut for the year. So.
That's right. And there's a whole cultural aspect too, which we'll get into with the bands and the music and this
the
type
food
of thing. So,
and everything else. Yeah.
So up at the convention center now, you have, like I said, the merch hall and some of the other aspects that we bring in. But
that also gets into the history of because you have other people serious about that, like in the con side, because kind of like when we had Towel Day here just a week or two ago.
Yeah,
you get people that it's all fun, but they are serious about their franchise or their.
I agree. There's passions that they pursue.
So there's the debate. You know, who's the cooler captain or whatever it is.
And that's really more into what we call ourselves as a sci-fi con. Because we're not really a comic con. We don't sell a lot of comic books.
Sure.
But
there is some if you are a comic book collector.
Absolutely.
So there is that side of it, but it is not exclusive.
But
like
yes, this
a
is
con could be something.
The genres and the little niches that people fall into. I like steampunk. I love steampunk. Yeah. It's because an old lady can do steampunk and not look silly.
And that's what the beauty of it. It's a chance for you to be your inner kid for a minute.
Yes.
It's even when you get in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond, it's like it's frowned upon to do things that you love, but you know what? You still love those kind of things.
That's right. And we also push the art side.
Yeah.
We have an artist, authors. We have all of our local. You wouldn't believe how many wonderful local authors there are in sci-fi.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. They just write great stuff, and I'm sure. Some gravitate here just because it is Roswell, and so maybe they come here to start their writing careers and things.
Absolutely.
But we do. You're right. We have some excellent people that call Southeast New Mexico home that have written books that you can get on Amazon and things like that right now. They'll all be in one spot here.
We've got E.J. Wilson on the Star Trek side of it, but he also does fiction, which is wonderful. John LeMay with the historical side of it, but he's also doing fiction now.
Well, he does. He's got his whole series because he's what he does about Billy the Kid, he also does about Godzilla.
Yeah.
like if you want to know the lore, the movie lore, the history lore of the Godzillas
He's a fabulous research writer.
Yeah. Like from what I'm understanding, like outside of Japan, some of his stuff's like some of the most recognized, knowledgeable stuff of Godzilla lore. Outside of some of the Japanese people that this is their life.
And he's a good writer.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a wonderful person.
So I mean, he'll talk Billy the Kid by day with you, but then he'll hit the deep sci-fi nerd stuff with you too.
And there's Edie Nevitz doing local sci-fi fiction, and just recently won a very big award for that. Yeah, so we do have a lot of the art side of it as well. And then the fourth entity is the Roswell Daily Record.
Yeah,
and they have kind of taken over the whole film festival aspect of it, and part of their existence is to have free films for the kiddos again, like we used to.
Good deal.
Yeah, and then the film festival.
Summer night out under the stars,
absolutely,
watching a sci-fi movie or obviously a family appropriate one. But
yes, we're all very family friendly in the whole thing.
I mean, just as as recent, I thought those were always fun. It's Saturday night, everyone's sitting out on the courthouse lawn or on the convention center lawn watching Transformers or something like that. Yeah.
So that's what they'll be doing, the whole film festival as well, with the judging of films that are submitted and this type of thing.
So
and that's under Sarah Lee and Toby.
So if you're a film person, check that out. Because
absolutely. They are going to be shown at the convention center this year, not the theater.
Excellent.
So we're all trying to be right there.
And usually one or two of those films you'll see later in like Sundance or Cannes or some of these other larger film festivals as they're getting there.
And most of them are actually shorts. Because people say, like 2 hours, I don't know. Some are 3 minutes long that are phenomenal.
Yeah.
And some are 10 minutes.
I know, like in years past, they'll have those film festivals. Yeah, it's like usually 2-3 days. And you could see 20 movies or 3 movies. It just depends on, some of them are feature length, some are, like you said, shorts or something a little smaller or something like that.
Exactly.
And you look at the list and there's like 30 movies a day. It's like, well, how is that possible? Because some of them are only 10 minutes long.
Exactly. I know that the free film on Thursday night is E.T.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we went.
That was longer than 10 minutes, by the way.
Yeah, but that's the outside
Spielberg
free movie
wants to do a
in the
whole feature
evening,
movie
right?
And all that.
Exactly.
Spielberg.
and we're hoping that we're working right now, trying to get to where we're showing the winners of their film festival on Sunday.
Excellent.
So that we have the bookends there.
And kids, if you do watch E.T. for the first time and you're wondering, that's where Reese's Pieces got famous.
That's right.
They came out shortly before the movie, and we really didn't care. But once that movie came out, everybody and their uncle was eating Reese's Pieces.
Absolutely.
At first, you're like, what happened to M&M's? It's all Reese's Pieces now. But,
exactly.
That movie did so much for the Reese's Company and Reese's Pieces.
Absolutely.
And Speak and Spells, for that matter, too. Remember those?
Yeah.
Because they use that in the movie.
I'd forgotten about that.
Spell. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's to be honest, that's the perfect kids' first sci-fi movie.
I think so. And everybody thought, and that's what the RDR, and that's Sarah Lee and Toby.
Because parents and adults love it just as much as kids. It's a warm story. It's a classic, and so and it holds up. Like you can watch it 20 years later, and you're just as entertained. Because this, they did a great job with the CGI, or not CGI, but just the special effects.
The special effects for that time were very good. Yeah.
And during that time, a lot of it's done in real time. Like if you watch old Star Wars documentaries about the making of Star Wars, they didn't have all this CGI stuff. There's little models and there's little guys playing with models all over the place building that stuff.
Yeah, I remember they said, the doors that open automatically. There's a guy on each side going,
Jabba the Hutt's got like 3 guys in it moving them around. It's kind of
exactly.
Nowadays they do all that through a computer.
Well, speaking of movies, we actually are bringing in for our guest. We always try to have a guest artist.
Sure, to talk film industry and how the sausage is made a little bit.
Right, Steve Garcia is an animator. He did Iron Giant.
Excellent.
And that's a wonderful children's movie.
Absolutely.
On accepting people who they are and things like that. It's a great movie.
And plus, in the time period it's in, it's great because it's got probably a foot in both the old way of doing things and the new way of doing things.
Right.
So people that have aspirations in animation and stuff will probably get to pick his brain and like how they used to do it versus how
he grew up
they
in
do it
Albuquerque.
Now. Okay, so he's a New Mexico native too.
Yeah.
Which, New Mexico's blessed. We do have a film presence in this state
because
of all of that. So it is very possible to pursue careers in the film industry, whatever it is, in writing and animation and acting and behind the camera or sound and editing, whatever it is. There's all kinds of careers.
I got two friends working on Dark Winds up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I some of those jobs you have to move where the jobs are, but Albuquerque's, like Netflix has got a studio there. If you're like a sound or video engineer or
these are in backup. Yeah.
9 to 5, Monday through Friday, you're in there editing videos and everything. It could be for a Netflix TV series one week. It could be for a blockbuster movie the next.
That's right. A lot of fun. That's where the action is for us down here.
So, but mine all started because you talked to a guy at Galacticon.
Exactly. Yeah. Super nice guy.
Yeah.
Super nice guy.
Absolutely.
I did want to go in a little bit on what the plans are with the whole aspect of the UFO festival. In downtown, they're actually having a cultural stage and a main stage.
Okay.
Now, the main stage is going to be right near the courthouse, as it always has been.
Sure.
And they're featuring a lot of the local and regional artists.
Okay.
And I think the headliner at this time is Alexandra.
Okay.
Who was from here. He's from here originally.
Excellent.
Now I think she's in LA. Probably.
Got a little bit bigger deal.
And then what they're calling the cultural stage is on South Main, like just past the UFO Museum.
Okay.
In that area.
Okay.
And it
kind of
is
down by Rugged Trade area and all that, or
kind of in that area. Yeah.
Okay.
And that is a Tejano bands.
Okay.
And Hispanic.
Okay, so probably
music and kind of a cultural
regional
aspect.
Mexican.
We've been doing
Tejano.
that, but it's been all kind of in the same place, and we
Okay.
want to spread out and cover
All right.
everybody on Main Street.
So you want to go whatever they're playing at the main stage at night, if you want to get a
flowing
little
between all that. Yeah.
Tejano or
Beer garden on
cumbia,
each
whatever
end.
they'll be playing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah.
Yeah,
then-
I think it's a great idea.
Well, and then float and hit all the stuff in the middle and get your alien eggs and all that stuff in between.
Right,
there, too.
exactly. Trying to cover and be fair to all the merchants on Main
Sure.
Street. And that Main Street has a boundary, kind of an area that they're in charge of, so to speak.
Sure.
And so
Well,
they're
you know
trying to
what?
cover that a little.
And to be honest, here in the near future, people will probably have a better understanding of the Main Street corridor because they do have the signs approved that they're gonna. They're
Exactly.
working on putting the archways at where actually are the official entries and exits of the Main Street corridor because it's not just Main Street; it's a few blocks on east and west of it too. Here,
Right.
of Main Street there, like if Virginia and Richardson on either side. A lot of the businesses in those areas also fall in the Main Street corridor too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's also, we have funding for Great Blocks, which it will be kind of an event collection area, kind of a big area where people can have a
Absolutely, yeah.
a band or something.
Main Street
yeah.
and the county
it's
are
just-
working on.
Yeah, it's right behind the
that whole-
courthouse area.
And then
there.
that's the future of that, which is kind of
that's always been talked about. It's nice to see.
Well, and I think part of it too is they want. Now, don't get me wrong; they're still going to have events on the Chavez County Courthouse lawn, but they're kind of like, we want to protect the grass a little bit. Let's see if we can move some of these events over off to the side, so we can keep our grass nice on the courthouse
those
lawn.
magnificent old sycamore trees.
Now, don't get me wrong; they're still going to have stuff out there, but I think they're trying to maybe shift some of it so we can save some money on the landscape in there.
Besides, the courthouse lawn is bounded by streets that are heavily traveled, especially Maine,
and
so
you have to walk
this would
and
get us a
cross-
little, block off. It's a block.
Sometimes
over.
with families and things, it gets a little squirrely in there.
And Main Street and the county, and even the city is supporting that project, which will be forthcoming.
Which should alter and amend and allow us to do even more at UFO festivals in the
Right.
future, too.
Exactly.
So, and other events, too.
Yeah.
Not just that. Who knows? Maybe farmers, the summer's farmers market that Main Street does every year, maybe some of that will shift over to there once it's established and everything, that park and all that.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, who knows what there goes. It'll evolve.
But we're excited about
as the
it.
community sees uses for it. And things.
Yeah, exactly. So that's going forward. So.
Yeah, but this is kind of setting that with having the two stages. It's kind of we're setting the table to say we're getting you ready to say there's
and
more
actually,
stuff
then
down
four,
here. Yeah.
4 blocks north
Let's
would
utilize the whole Main Street corridor, not just the parts.
Yes,
we
and that
normally
4
use.
blocks north is the convention center.
And the Main Street businesses that are in those areas, I'm sure will appreciate because now they're going to get more foot traffic and more people going in there buying pants and collectibles and the things that are sold in those businesses.
Right,
now,
exactly.
or lunch or whatever.
And that's what we want to do.
Absolutely.
We do want to promote the whole business aspect because it's important to the economy of Roswell.
So-
Like I said, Christmas in July.
And that's something I say too. Support these businesses. Well, granted, obviously, our out-of-towners are going to be doing a lot of shopping at these folks, but you guys come there anyway 24/7. Christmas, getting your Christmas shopping or you shop for presents or your personal shopping, and continue to support this and steer people too.
Right.
If you've got, we always do the ambassador thing when you're walking around getting your alien eggs or participating in the costume contests or doing the locals do at UFO Festival. Tell people your favorite places to eat, your favorite places to shop. It's like, oh, you love this shirt? I got it right over there.
That's
Go
right.
walk over there and check it out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
As the tourism committee, the council that we had worked with, we did a little program where you train people like servers and hotel people we call them ambassadors, which they reminded me of it. Yeah, to train them and not to say, there's nothing to do here.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. But yeah, you can do, we got 7 museums.
Yeah.
7 museums.
Yeah. It's like, wait, you're tired of alien stuff?
Yeah.
Go send them over to the Historical Society. Go send them to the Art Museum.
We have a free
Go send
zoo.
them Anderson Museum. Go to the zoo. Yeah,
exactly. So that was a whole program to train people to be better ambassadors.
Go take them to Bottoms Lake, Bitter Lake.
Yes.
Show them, show them everything. That's what we want to do. We want them to come back and
get a
come see
hotel
it.
room here and go up the mountain
So when
to
they come back for the air
an hour.
races next year, they got some other things on their trip.
Oh
to
boy,
play.
that's gonna be fun. I'm excited about that. I think it's going to help the economy a lot.
Oh, it's amazing. This is a great thing. If we embrace it and run with this thing, the Reno Air Races could be Southeast New Mexico's International Balloon Fiesta. It could absolutely be that, and we could have literally 2 international tentpole events in a town of 50,000.
Absolutely.
Not many towns can claim that.
And it's Roswell.
Yeah, exactly.
Only other 2 could claim that is
exactly.
Roswell.
So.
Yeah, we're on the bucket list,
Yeah, this is cool.
And I've seen that working with the whole UFO festival for 20 years, that, people just come because it's Roswell.
Absolutely.
And from all over the world. We're not talking.
We're the unofficial,
Texas
official
only.
headquarters of anything UFO.
Exactly.
You talk about aliens and UFO. If we're not the first word that comes out of people's mouth, we're the top 5. It's
absolutely.
just what it is.
Google it.
Yeah.
AI will tell you.
That's right. Even the idiot AI will tell you. But we want to tell people there is the website, the UFO Festival, Roswell UFO Festival. I always mess it up.
I know. It's just UFOfestival.com.
I always want to add other words.
It was a Roswell a long time, and I think somebody still has that.
Someone
or
owns
URL,
it? Gotcha.
yes. But www.
The 3 dubs.
UFOfestival.com, and that's kind of the pulling everything
and that's got
together.
Everything that Galacticon's doing, the museum's doing, the city's doing, the Daily Record's
and you can
doing.
see, we have our 4 little entities, and that's the Galacticon, the Alien Fest, which is Main Street, the Roswell Incident, which is the RDR, and the UFO Museum.
Excellent.
And if you haven't been to the museum, I've got to say, there's so many improvements.
Oh, yeah,
they're really getting into electronics and technology, interaction. They have a little room where you stand and you're at the helm of a spaceship. You can punch buttons and pretend.
Yeah. They and plus like you said, the video screens and timelines and stuff.
Absolutely.
And they're really tying the whole Roswell history in with the crash site.
That's
so you
right.
kind of see, and so obviously you had a lot of the and they still do have, the pictures and photographs and all that.
Sure, the historical aspect of it.
But there's also like the timelines, and now you can get a better sense of following, what when and who came from where, and kind of giving you a better sense on how all of it went down.
And I think it's still $7.
Yeah.
My gosh.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then of course, you bring your family, come out. It really is. And to be honest, if you haven't been during UFO Festival, that whole room is filled with interesting people to talk to.
Speakers and writers.
The speakers, the authors. Some go way crazy. Some are very historical and scientific. I met the whole gamut. Like I had one guy, and you're like, okay, you need to tighten up the full helmet here. But then there's people that are talking that are doctors, scientists, that are hitting you with facts, hitting you with irrefutable evidence of things that can't be explained. And so that's why to me it's so interesting. It's because you get some real head scratching, makes you think.
Yeah.
But you do have to weed through a couple of the
spice.
Crazy,
add a little spice.
Yeah,
to it.
the interesting stuff. There. You know, the one that got me. I interviewed some guy that claimed that Marilyn Monroe was killed because JFK, in their pillow talk, was slipping the stories out about the aliens, and so Bobby had Marilyn Monroe killed because she knew all the UFO secrets that his brother was telling in pillow talk. And I had to believe that like it was serious.
Yeah, right. Yep, there's a whole Marilyn Monroe thing there.
Like, you're giving a lot of people a lot of credit for a lot of things in that story.
That's right.
But anyway, but then you have that, but then you also have people like, no, this is a metal that we don't have on our elemental charts, and it was found out there.
That's right.
Explain that.
Yeah, the Roswell rock.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, you have to respect both sides.
Absolutely.
And I'm big on respect. That's something that I go by.
Absolutely. And that's what. And to be honest, walk in there and come decide for yourself. Maybe you walk in there, and if you think they're all off their rockers, then God bless you. But you might just be like, you know what? There's something to this. I kind of want to. And then you can go, and that's the other side is you forget. We all walk around and look at the lights and the bells and the whistles. That library is arguably probably the most complete source in one location of all things UFO. Is in that building right
it's
there.
It's part of their name, research library.
Yeah, and that's the part we forget sometimes. It's like we come and look for the pictures of green men and buy your bobbleheads and all that. But those books, pretty much any kind of periodical put on about UFO stuff, both by the private, by government and scientific entities, all of that is right there in that museum.
That's
for
right.
people to research and look up.
Well, I may have said this before, but I started doing this in 2007 with the city, and I used to run the merch hall, or the vendor hall, as we call it, at the convention center for years. And on 3 different occasions, I had an 80-year-old man show up with his eldest son and say, I need to talk.
What's his oldest son, like 65?
Not at that time. It was 55. But they had been on either the debris field pickup crew.
Oh, wow.
Or the flight to Wright Air Force Base.
Okay. So they were like boots on the ground in the building.
And they were told they do not mention this at all. I mean, they were threatened with everything, and but they were in their 80s, and they wanted to cleanse before they died.
Absolutely.
I mean, this is the truth.
It's like, what are you going to do to me now? I'm 80.
Yeah, but it was just odd. There were 3 different ones over a span of 4 or 5 years.
Yeah,
and they said, I just need to talk to somebody. And so I called Peter Robbins. You know Peter, wonderful man. He's from New York, but he's very gentle and quiet and a huge influence on the whole UFO speakers, a ufologist, as we call him.
Sure.
And so I call Peter, and he'd come and they go talk. But they wanted to clear their conscience or get that word out. And
think about it. If you experience something in your life and told you can't tell nobody, and after 30 years you're fine, what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, how much, does family even know? Like, does their spouses know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were threatened with everything.
Yeah. And I know that because I've experienced that my own a little bit in the military. When I worked stealth fighters, there was some loading and things we did, and I literally got that exact treatment. What you see here doesn't exist, blah, 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 top secret, the whole 9.
If you love your family,
I experienced all it. Signing, if you expose this, you're going to Fort Leavenworth, where you're going to break big rocks and little rocks the rest of your life.
Yeah.
I got threatened with all that.
Yeah.
And it can be quite intimidating.
And all this happened, right after World War II, which, there's a whole fear factor in all of that as well. But I mean, there is a serious side to it.
Absolutely.
But on the other side is fun.
Absolutely. And that's the part, whatever part you're into,
or
whether
both.
it's the series or both. Like, if you want to go do a little research library and then go put a full hat on and get in the pet costume or the alien costume contest, and awesome. Great. Come on and have fun. But the UFOfestival.com has got all the complete schedule for everything, and that way you can say, okay, well, at 2:00 we need to be here. At 3:00 we're going to be here,
and study that for a while.
Yeah,
and then the week of the Roswell Daily Record puts out its Vision Supplement.
Yeah, in the paper there.
Chris Stock does a fabulous job on that every year, and it has the schedule and going back to just one schedule, so that we can follow through.
That way you can keep it in your pocket if you're like want to update real quick, or sometimes data and stuff doesn't work on your phone. You're like, oh,
right.
man, I can't get a signal.
But if you wanted to see a particular movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. During the film festival or whatever. Yeah.
Gaming, we list all
that's
of our
right.
gaming. We do a lot of gaming.
That's been growing a little bit at the Galacticons over the years.
When everybody was at home during the pandemic, they thought, oh, I'm so bored. And they look up and there's Dungeons and Dragons. And they go, oh, I haven't done that in years.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not just talking computer gaming. Tabletop gaming.
We do basically, tabletop is our bread and butter.
But yeah, so please come be a part of it. Come. There's going to be some aspects of the UFO Festival weekend that everybody's going to like, whether it's the alien stuff, whether it's just food crawl, going around and hitting all the different food people, or shopping, or if it's the serious stuff, the meeting the panel speakers and the UFOologists and all that, or you know what, I'm just a movie buff and I want to come watch a bunch of movies that I'm probably not going to get an opportunity to see anywhere else here.
And another aspect too, the city, they didn't just drop out or anything. They backed off a little on parts of it.
Sure.
They're also sponsoring major free to the family, free to the public events. We're doing a playground area at the convention center.
Great.
So the kids can go blow off some steam.
Sure.
And then go in the air conditioned building.
That's right.
So there's different aspects, and I believe the free film is one of those aspects. So the city is sponsoring and working with, and they also provided some monies for marketing. We actually are doing more marketing this year than we have ever done outside of being a city event. And that's wonderful. We're at USA Today, New Mexico Magazine.
Yeah, we don't see it necessarily here in Roswell because it's not for us.
That's right. Yeah,
it's for outside of
yes,
Roswell,
and we've reached out quite a bit. We've got an advertising committee that's working on that, which I'm a member of, and of course Juliana's heading part of that up with Barb and John from the chamber, Hispano Chamber.
Excellent.
There's a handful of us that have worked real hard to get. Daryl Burfeld, to get the radio out to the whole region. We're, clear into Dallas, and we kind of looked at the hot spots from last year. So
and marketed those.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And they were, they were the same as what I did 15 years ago.
Excellent. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, come on. I just saw the time, so we better wrap this up.
We can talk forever. You know that.
UFOfestival.com is your one-stop shop for everything for this year's UFO Festival. Whether it's Galacticon, whether it's the Daily Record stuff, whether it's the UFO Museum or something
Main
else
Street.
in between, or Main Street, whatever it is, you'll find it there, and just make plans to attend. Don't forget, this year it's after the July 4th, June 5th to the 7th.
Actually, it's the perfect timing because people are off Friday. No, Thursday. So and we always, when we did this thing, and whatever day 4th of July landed on, we respected.
Sure.
And stopped at 5 o'clock so people could go then out to Cielo Grande and watch fireworks.
This year it's it's just all that's done, and we can go
So we're Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 5th through the 7th.
Put your antennas on and get going.
Right.
So, excellent.
You love antennas.
Well, they're kind of the official status.
There you go.
Thank you as always. We'll see you next week, Elaine.
Yes.
All right, it is 8:56. Quick break before news. Don't go away.
Cool.
This is Chad Hamill, and I'm running to be your next senator for District 32. My opponent, Candy Azell, can't defend her 20-year record in the Santa Fe swamp, so she's attacking other people's families and kids on the radio. That's the difference in this race. Candy attacks other people's kids while I'm running to protect yours. And on my record, as a fire chief, I have seen the devastation of open borders. Fentanyl overdoses are out of control. As a small business owner here in the community, I know firsthand how politicians in Santa Fe have destroyed small businesses for our communities. As a previous school board member, I know local control has been ripped away from our schools. It is time for a change. The same old just isn't working. I will be your conservative voice in Santa Fe. Career politicians have gotten New Mexico into this mess, but as a firefighter, I've made my living running towards problems, and I'm ready to fix the problems. I humbly ask for your vote on June the 4th so we can put the fire out in Santa Fe. Paid for by Friends of Chad Hamill.
Hi, this is Jim Gill from Roswell Seed Company, here to announce that our geraniums are ready. So now the great debate begins. Are they pink or are they raspberry sorbet? Are they orange or are they Caribbean coral? Well, whatever you call them, they're the prettiest geraniums anywhere. We raise them in our own greenhouse, then send them home with you to brighten up the world. So come get yours now while the selection is best. Don't worry about the silly names.
I heard that.
Yes, dear. Coming, dear. Right away, dear. Of course, you're right.
Hi, I'm Jeff Bilberry. I'm here to support my friend and colleague Pat Boone for the New Mexico Senate District 27. Pat and I serve together on the LIDA School Board. I know his commitment to provide the best opportunities for our students in rural schools in New Mexico and across the board. Pat has been a steward of our land and was past chairman of the Soil and Water Board, and Pat was also past president of the New Mexico Cattle Growers Association. This Tuesday is the Republican primary. Please cast your vote for Pat Boone.
I'm Pat Boone, and I approve this message.
When it comes to fighting the governor and her progressive lackeys in the state house, we need a proven conservative. This is Jared Hembry, and I have taken on the left-wing agenda as your conservative representative. New Mexico has serious issues, many of which are being ignored by the governor and the liberal left, and we need a representative who will fight to protect our way of life. I know what it takes to fight and win in Santa Fe. I am humbly asking for your trust and your vote on or before June 4th so I can continue to fight for what we believe.
Paid for by Jared Hembry for State Representative.
This is Dr. Anna Arnett. I have been practicing primary care medicine in Southeast New Mexico for 25 years. This election, I strongly urge you to support Candy Spence Ezell for Senate District 32 because she will be the best advocate for protecting our health care. I am disappointed in the misleading characterization of her record by outside voices. In her time as a legislator, Candy has always worked hard for us and has been a strong voice for the medical community. Candy is an advocate of southeastern New Mexico, especially fighting for doctors and patients and our rural healthcare system. As you may be aware, there is a severe doctor shortage in New Mexico. That's why we need Candy to continue to fight for us. She cares about each of us, and she cares about making our health care better. Join me this election in voting for Candy Spence Ezell for State Senate.
Paid for by Candy Spence Ezell for State Senate District 32.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. An illegal alien is accused of pulling the trigger.
New York City police say 2 officers were shot in Queens overnight after stopping a man on a moped driving the wrong way. One shot in his leg, the other his chest. Mayor Eric Adams held up the bulletproof vest that he says saved the officer.
This is a bullet hole. Because of this vest, a young police officer is going home.
NYPD Commissioner Edward Caban says police were investigating a robbery pattern where the thieves used mopeds when they spotted the 19-year-old. The suspect was shot in the ankle. All 3 are recovering. Police say the 19-year-old is from Venezuela, entered the country illegally, and was living in a migrant shelter. Julie Walker, New York.
Hunter Biden's trial on federal firearms charges underway today in Delaware. It's jury selection. Prosecutors say that Biden had legally purchased a gun in October of 2018. Falsely swearing on a federal form that he had not used drugs. When it comes to relief from rising gas prices, we may not get any help from the Saudis and their oil-producing allies, including Russia. They're extending deep crude production cuts.
Oil prices have slumped even in the face of turmoil in the Middle East and the start of the summer travel season. The OPEC Plus alliance, made up of members of the producers' cartel and allied countries, including Russia, decided at an online meeting to carry 5.8 billion barrels in production cuts into next year. Higher prices would support Russia in its war against Ukraine.
Correspondent Jeremy House. It's an historic election in Mexico where Claudia Sheinbaum becomes the country's first female president. The former Mexico City mayor ran as the governing party's presidential candidate. Watching Wall Street, the Dow is now down 209 points. The NASDAQ 25 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 866-755-5300. That's 866-755-5300. Again, that's 866-755-5300. Call us right now.
A tragic end to the search for an Israeli man missing in the aftermath of the October 7th Hamas terror attack.
The Israeli military says the body of a presumed hostage has been found in a community near the Gaza border that Hamas militants attacked on October 7. Dolev Yehud, who was 35, was thought to be among scores of hostages held in Gaza until Monday, when the military announced he had been killed in the initial attack. Israel's expanding its offensive in the southern Gaza city of Rafah, once the main hub of humanitarian aid operations. The invasions largely cut off the flow of food, medicine and other supplies to Palestinians facing widespread hunger. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
South Korea says it will suspend a rapprochement deal with North Korea to punish the North over its launches of trash-carrying balloons into the South. Today's South Korean announcement came one day after Pyongyang said that it would be halting its balloon campaign. News and analysis, townhall.com. Have you ever heard of magnet fishing? Well, it's proven very profitable for one couple in the Big Apple.
James Kane and Barbie Agostini spend their days throwing a giant magnet on a rope into ponds, rivers and canals in New York City. They hit the jackpot on Friday when they cast their magnet into a lake in the borough of Queens in New York. When the line came back up, there was a safe attached to it. When they managed to open it, they couldn't believe their eyes. It was stuffed with bundles of $100 bills that amounted to around $100,000. Police say that because it's not attached to a crime and no one knows who it belonged to, the couple can keep it.
And that's the BBC's Wendy Urquhart. Southwest Airlines going back to federal court, hoping to reverse an $800,000 award to a flight attendant who says that she was fired for her pro-life views. More on these stories at townhall.com.
This is Chad Hamill, and I'm running to be your next senator for District 32. My opponent, Candy Azell, can't defend her 20-year record in the Santa Fe swamp, so she's attacking other people's families and kids on the radio. That's the difference in this race. Candy attacks other people's kids while I'm running to protect yours. And on my record, as a fire chief, I have seen the devastation of open borders. Fentanyl overdoses are out of control. As a small business owner here in the community, I know firsthand how politicians in Santa Fe have destroyed small businesses for our communities. As a previous school board member, I know local control has been ripped away from our schools. It is time for a change. The same old just isn't working. I will be your conservative voice in Santa Fe. Career politicians have gotten New Mexico into this mess, but as a firefighter, I've made my living running towards problems, and I'm ready to fix the problems. I humbly ask for your vote on June the 4th so we can put the fire out in Santa Fe. Paid for by Friends of Chad Hamill.
Hi, this is Jim Gill from Roswell Seacup, here to announce that our geraniums are ready. So now the great debate begins. Are they pink or are they raspberry sorbet? Are they orange or are they Caribbean coral? Well, whatever you call them, they're the prettiest geraniums anywhere. We raise them in our own greenhouse, then send them home with you to brighten up the world. So come get yours now while the selection is best. Don't worry about the silly names.
I heard that.
Yes, dear. Coming, dear. Right away, dear. Of course, you're right.
Every person listening to this ad right now will agree we as a nation are facing an uncertain future. We're at a crossroads. The status quo has failed us. We've got to fight. We've got to take back what we have lost. With your vote, you can join this fight. We can no longer squander our vote and our voice as if we're voting in a high school popularity contest. Nor can we continue electing self-serving politicians that claim to fight for you while making backroom deals that have facilitated the erosion of your liberties while destroying our livelihoods. My association with various different grassroots organizations, patriot groups, and activists has led to statewide citizen participation efforts to initiate grand jury investigations and the referendum of historically egregious laws. Similar efforts are being planned. These efforts will continue far into the future. We have within our reach the tools and weapons we need to end this tyranny and stop the assault on our faith, our liberties, and our way of life. We have the God-given authority to take back what we have lost. If you vote for Larry Marker, you're not voting for me, you're voting for we.
Paid for by the committee to elect Larry Marker.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder.
and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 8 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3 of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Monday.
Yes.
Hope you're having a swell Monday so far.
Indeed.
It is Monday.
It's been 1 week since you were able to sleep in, but, not today.
Not today. Huh? Not today. But for some, unless you're summer, kids on summer, teachers.
Although my son, he decided to have not want to go to sleep last night. He didn't know the day full of fun.
Today?
I don't know if it was excitement, nerves, or what, but he just wouldn't go to sleep last night. So, of course, he was cranky this morning. But day one of camp convention, drop-off was a success. And, we're hoping
off having fun. And
we're hoping his brain gets engaged enough that he'll actually be tired by the end of the day.
I think so. I think so. So you'll pick him up 3:30 or
about
whatever.
3:30,
yeah.
Take him on home.
Yeah. You're about day one of camp tomorrow.
Yeah.
Get the highlights from his day one of camp.
I'm thinking if I can finagle it, I might actually have a date tonight.
Ooh.
With Rhiannon.
Ah.
Take her since
that's
brother gets to go to the it's my daughter. Ayana, just
for
in
those
case
tuning
you're
in home, that's his daughter.
No, Ayana knows. But since Hunter's got camp this week, decided maybe do something fun for her.
She wants something to be special too.
Take her to go see the new Garfield movie.
Oh, cool.
She's been real excited about it, and I'm genuinely curious to see how it turned out.
Yeah. Because what's his name is
Chris Pratt's in it.
Chris Pratt. Is he Garfield?
I think he's Garfield.
Yeah.
He's
playing a lot of cartoon-like characters.
Well, he's really cashing on the voiceover thing.
Yeah, no kidding. Between Mario and now Garfield.
It's again, and I've talked about it. It's that infuriating thing that they don't care. They don't do voices anymore. Well, it's just they're cast as their own voice.
And maybe I'm wrong, but I saw like a scene from the movie because didn't Bill Murray voice the other Garfield movie?
Yeah, Bill Murray was the one from the other Garfield.
Yeah, and when I was hearing like a scene from the movie, it sounded like it was Pratt doing Bill Murray doing Garfield.
Really?
To me, it sounded like he was trying to do it like Bill Murray did it.
Garfield already has that kind of low...
Yeah, but it was more Bill Murray.
What's the guy's name? Lorenzo Music, I believe, was the guy's name who did the original voice of Garfield.
The cartoon Garfield,
yeah.
the OG.
Yeah. Which, the guy's got a fantastic name. It sounds like his name is Lorenzo Music, and he's got a voice like an angel.
Sure, that's a stage name.
Yeah, Chris Pratt is Garfield. Nicholas Hoult is John Arbuckle. Ving Rhames plays Otto. Let's see
the
who
dog?
else is,
the buddy dog?
No, that's Odie you're thinking
Odie, I'm thinking. I'm sorry. It's been a while since I've seen it.
Snoop Dogg plays a character just called Maine Coon. Yeah, weirdly, Odie's not listed. At least not right away here. Greg Berger is playing Odie. Of course, then Odie would never had a speaking role. He just his was just a series of barks.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm genuinely want to see it. I grew up on Garfield and Friends.
So this is gonna be a scene in this movie where you're gonna be craving roast beef sandwiches when Ving Rhames starts talking.
Oh yeah, I was like, Garfield's thing was lasagna.
But Ving Rhames got the meats.
He does have the meats. It's so funny. Some of the AI generated Arby's parody commercials that have been put out there about all the horrific things that the atrocities of Arby's and all these things. And at the end, it's like, Arby's, we have the controversy.
I didn't know there was a bunch of Arby controversy.
Oh, just like where they source their meats from and all that.
Oh.
if it's as top quality. There's a whole thing online.
Well, it's fast food.
You can dive into it's not that fast.
I mean, it's fast food.
It is. It's
going in expecting, Although they're one of the few places that you can get things like venison from time to time.
That's true.
I've never been to a fast food place other than Arby's where you get venison on a burger.
It's a hard thing to find, but yeah.
And I've had it. It was all right. It was all right.
That's one you really got to prepare right because it can be gamey.
Oh, venison, yeah. Any hunting game meats in general, it's all in how you cook it.
Oh yeah.
Quail can be awful too if you don't cook it right.
Boy, can it ever.
I mean, it's harder to screw that up.
Prep it and cook it correctly.
Yeah, like my dad, somebody gave him deer meat years ago when I was a kid, and my father did not know. That was the first time I had venison, and I didn't eat it for years. I was so grossed out by it, and finally, I was married, and there was this place in Ruidoso. I don't think it's open anymore. I think it was called like Dr. Steve's or something like that.
Okay,
and it was a diner place. And they had venison steak and eggs for breakfast. Ooh. And I said, all right, I'm going to give it another try from someone that actually knows how to cook.
Exactly. You got to imagine somebody who's like a chef can.
And it was 1,000% better. I like venison now that I've had it from people that know how to cook it.
We had a similar situation. We were given like a freezer full of deer meat after these guys went on a hunt. My father-in-law, Papa, and his friends. And it just wasn't like... drained or prepped right.
This is gamey.
It became, we had 7 months worth of
gamey meat.
Really, really healthy dog food. Our dogs were eating like kings.
They don't care.
They loved it.
They don't taste their food. They
That's
just
right.
wolf it down.
Yeah.
So. But
they don't need seasonings or they prefer it if it tastes bloody.
But I'm always that guy. I want the weird meat.
Yeah.
Like when I go on my cruise next week, I will order the thing that you can't normally get. If it's snails, I'm getting snails.
I know it's not a popular opinion, but I love veal.
Oh, I do too.
I
like veal.
The best meat I've ever had in my entire life. And I know it's cruel and it's not. I'm of the mindset that the best meats are produced through the cruelest means, or the best products. Think of foie gras. I mean, it's...
And I've never ate foie gras.
I've never have either. I've always wanted to, but...
It's a delicacy.
The way that they acquire those fatty duck livers is not, what you would consider polite.
Yeah.
But, it's still something I definitely want to try. Veal, again, phenomenal. And I know it's so cruel how they raise them, but still.
Well, I just grew up, in D.C. where you have a lot of good restaurants, like Italian, and so you go and there's a veal parm. You get a good veal parm. And woo.
The first veal parmesan I ever had in my entire life was from a nursing home. My mom worked there, and I was subbing in. I was kicked out of the 7th grade. It's another story for another day.
Yeah.
And I had to go to work with her in the morning. I just remember for lunch that day, they all had veal, and I was like, I don't know about nursing home veal, but it was really good.
Mm-hmm. It is good.
Yeah.
People get mad about the young beef thing.
It's cruel, but gosh, it's good.
Yeah, it is. But, it is.
But I digress.
I like crabs. No one feels sorry for crabs.
Not well. They're basically just cockroaches of the sea.
They are. They're scavengers, much like any crustacean or catfish.
Yeah,
good eating.
I'm not sure of the exotic meats that I would be willing to try. Like, I think I'm good with just the American meats. If it comes off a cow or a pig or a chicken, it's usually pretty good.
I like lamb.
Elephant.
Do people eat elephants?
I don't know. Have you ever wondered though?
I don't even think you eat elephants.
I don't. I'm sure it's somewhere. It's done.
Giraffe.
In some culture.
Lion.
You feel like those would have the most meat on them, the best meat, the sweet meats. I don't
know. Well, I think the more muscular the animal is, the worse the meat.
That's true. Then you think of elephants though, they're fatty. Of course, they could all be muscle.
Too.
I don't know. I'm bad with animals. But all the exotic meat.
The delicious scale.
Like, for example, our friend 2 floors up, Matt Bristol, he's been on a lot of interesting adventures and killed a lot of interesting animals.
Yeah.
You got to wonder if he's tried any of said animals.
I'm sure they've been in there and eaten some of these meats.
Like, think he's ever had panda?
I don't think he's ever hunted pandas.
I don't think it's even legal to hunt panda. Big old plate of panda steak.
No, all I can think of, you reminded me of that movie from the 80s with Matthew Broderick and Marlon Brando. What was that movie called? Marlon Brando was a mafiosa type. Matthew Broderick was a kid right out of college and ends up being his assistant. And they're having like this big dinner where they're serving an endangered species, Komodo dragon. And it's not really dragon, and it's a whole. I'm trying to think who else is in it. Matthew Broderick's in it. I feel like it's called like The Freshman or something like that. And Marlon Brando.
Yep, you're absolutely right. The Freshman.
Yeah, and there's other famous people in it. I think. Like, isn't Long Duck Dong in it?
Probably.
From
He just
16
showed up
Candles.
and-
I
he just
think
showed up
Long
and
Duck
everything.
Dong's in it. But
Of course, that was a white guy, wasn't it? The dude who played Long Duck Dong?
No, he's Asian dude.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, he was. No, he's not in it. At least not that I saw. But there you go. But yeah, I mean, all these exotic, wild game expeditions he's been on. I'm sure he's had all kinds of different, like...
Oh, I'm sure. I don't think Panda's one of them, but
No,
yes.
probably not Panda. That was an exaggeration, Matt, if you're listening.
But I'm sure he's had some kind of...
And if he's had it, I'm sure he's not going to come on here and tell us about it.
I bet he's ate some like
You eat
hyena
that under a cloth so that God
or
doesn't see your
caribou or
shame.
something. I'm sure he's eaten before.
Oh, caribou, yeah, that's...
I've had antelope. That was
I got to
pretty good.
imagine that man scooped a fish eyeball out at some point. in
I had
his
an
life.
antelope burger once. That was pretty
Yeah.
good.
I had buffalo. Buffalo was fantastic.
Oh, buffalo's just like beef.
Yeah.
But it's actually healthier.
Mhm.
It's beef with the less cholesterol and all that. It tastes just like beef. It's a little... It can be a little drier if you don't cook it right.
Mhm.
But, yeah, it's just like beef. Antelope tasted good, but the meat's got a purpley consistency to
I've
it.
seen that, yeah.
So it tasted good, but yeah, it's kind of... You feel like I'm eating an alien burger.
You need it more well done, I would think, to kind of...
Felt like Alf eating cat or something.
I'm not going to even touch the domesticated world. Speaking of animals, but they're not here to talk animals today. They're here to talk plants.
They're talking plants and seeds.
You guys really do have the biological world covered. Plants and animals. It's pretty solidly covered.
It's a delicious world. Yes, John and Crystal Noble joining us from Roswell Seed here this morning. Before we do any of that, though, let's get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Sunny and hot for the next couple of days. Upper level high pressure overhead will hit about 100 for the afternoon high today, maybe a little bit over, and wind gusting at 20 to 30 miles an hour. Overnight looks clear. We'll cool off into the upper 60s, still a little bit breezy, and then more heat coming up on Tuesday. Afternoon highs 100 to 105, and we'll be getting sunshine hot again on Wednesday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 82 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 9%. Dang, it's dropping. Sunny and hot today, 102. The expected high. Winds will be out of the north, 10 to 15 miles per hour. And I'm surprised we don't have a red flag warning with 9% humidity right now. But probably not the best idea to be throwing your cigarette butts out the window today or doing some welding on grass or something. Mostly clear tonight. Overnight low of 67. Winds will be out of the west at around 15 miles per hour. Sunny tomorrow and 104 the expected high. Northwest winds 10 to 15. Wednesday, sunny, hot, 100 for the high there. North winds at around 10 miles per hour. Thursday, and then through the weekend, there's slight rain chances. A 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms Thursday afternoon. Otherwise, sunny and hot, 104 for the high. 20% chance for afternoon showers and thunderstorms Friday, mostly sunny, 100. Saturday, a 20% chance at showers and thunderstorms, mostly sunny and 103. And then Sunday, a 20% chance at showers and thunderstorms, sunny and 99 for a high there. So pretty much more of the same this week with 20% chance of rain beginning Thursday for the weekend. All right, it is 9:22. We're going to take a relatively quick commercial break, and then we'll talk Roswell Seed on the other side. Don't go away.
Hello, this is State Senator Greg Nybert. As you know, I represent Chaves County in the State Senate for District 27. I've represented us in the legislature for 8 years. I'm asking for your vote so that I can continue to be your strong voice for Chaves County. It is important that you go vote. Voting in Chaves County has been light, and there are contested races on the ballot this year, so your vote is very important. Early voting ends Saturday, and Election Day is Tuesday, June 4th.
As your state senator, I will continue to protect our Second Amendment rights, the right to life, our oil and gas industry, and our conservative Republican values. And I will, of course, do my best to bring economic development and growth to our community as I did with the recently announced Reno air races. I humbly ask for your vote for Greg Nybert in the upcoming Republican primary so we can keep Chaves County strong. Please go vote early this week. Election Day is Tuesday, June 4th.
Paid for by Greg Nybert for State Senate.
Artesia General Hospital recently welcomed urogynecologist Scott Beard to the team. Dr. Beard is board certified in obstetrics and gynecology, as well as female pelvic medicine and reconstructive surgery. With nearly 25 years of experience in women's health, he treats conditions such as incontinence, chronic pelvic pain, prolapse, endometriosis, and others, offering surgical and non-surgical care options. Dr. Beard joins our women's services team currently working out of Memorial Family Practice in Artesia and is accepting new patients. Learn more and schedule your visit at artesiageneral.com/UROGYN or call 575-736-8394.
At New Mexico Gas Company, we believe there's money hiding in your home. It's true. It's hiding in your insulation, in your water heater, and in your furnace. And New Mexico Gas Company can help you tap into that money with rebates up to $800 for high-efficiency natural gas improvements. Your energy costs will go down, and your wallet will thank you. We're New Mexico Gas Company, and we provide energy efficiency solutions to save you money. That's why we're here. Learn more at nmgcgetrebates.com.
Hi, I'm Jeff Bilberry. I'm here to support my friend and colleague Pat Boone for the New Mexico Senate District 27. Pat and I served together on the LIDA school board. I know his commitment to provide the best opportunities for our students in rural schools in New Mexico and across the board. Pat has been a steward of our land and was past chairman of the Soil and Water Board, and Pat was also past president of the New Mexico Cattle Growers Association. This Tuesday is the Republican primary. Please cast your vote for Pat Boone.
I'm Pat Boone, and I approve this message.
This is State Representative Jim Townsend. I want to tell you why Candy Spence-Ezell is the best choice to be your next state senator. Candy is consistently ranked as one of the most conservative legislators in the entire New Mexico legislature. That's why the attacks on her in this race have been so ridiculous. The vote her opponent says was for illegal immigrants. Well, actually, that healthcare vote was to keep rural hospitals open during COVID, and every Republican in the legislature in Santa Fe that day voted for it, even the liberal Republicans supporting her opponent. The vote Candy's opponent says was for critical race theory was an education bill that, again, every Republican in the legislature in Santa Fe that day voted for. The attacks on Candy's characters are lies. Candy is a tried and true conservative Republican. Please vote Candy Spence-Ezell for State Senate.
Paid for by Candy Spence-Ezell for State Senate District 32.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The Goodyear Rubber Company researched and concluded that shoes wear out faster on the right foot than on the left. To fix this, just walk backwards for half the day. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 26 minutes after 9 o'clock. And joining us in studio this morning from Roswell Seed Company, John and Crystal Noble are back with us. Good morning, guys. How y'all doing?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Doing good.
Showing them some marketing.
Yeah. Funny.
That's pretty good.
Good deal here. Well, today we're not talking necessarily about dogs and cats. Today we're switching to our seed and plants and trees.
Yes.
Today.
Yeah, I had people, how come you're not on the radio anymore? What do you know? It's like, I'm just a little bit busy.
I was about to say, you know, obviously you're having leadership transitions, and when you have a man that ran the company as long as he has, things are gonna, priorities to shift responsibilities. Things. So there's a bit of a transitional period.
Oh,
for you
big
guys.
time,
Absolutely.
big time. I mean, I got permanent shoe prints on my butt from me kicking myself. It's like, dang, I didn't listen that day. He said this, and I should have. It's like, So yeah, feeling
all those nuggets of wisdom. Like, man, I wish I wrote these down.
If I'd have had barbecue sauce, I'd have been a fat man. But it's just feeling monstrously huge shoes. There's no way I can't. I got to be real about it. So I'm just trying to do basically the best I can with what I can. Lot of reading.
Well, the good news is, John and and the rest of your staff, they do have quite a bit of knowledge. So yes, what we lost with his passing, the Roswell Seeds have got you covered.
We still
have 100
yeah.
years of research and data and information sitting in there.
Might take us a little bit longer.
Just the man who had the keys to find it all.
Yeah, there's been some questions. I've had to call some people, made some really good friends now out there. Some professors that I'm pretty sure really have to dumb themselves up just to talk to me on the phone. But people come in, they got some really good questions, and it's like, I can't answer it, but give me that shot. Just give me that little window. And I get on the phone and I call, different people and stuff like that. New Mexico State. Dad was an alumni in New Mexico State.
That's right.
So their department has helped us out quite a bit. They're, hey, hi. It's
There's a
you
reason
again.
they're singing the alumni of the Aggies at the service, memorial service.
Yeah, Dad was a loyal Aggie. That's why the truck that I drive, it's Aggie colors.
It's got an Aggie hat in the
dash. The hat is from my daughter because my daughter graduated from New Mexico State.
Nice.
Yeah,
so you got some alum in your family.
Yeah,
too,
yeah. She graduated last year.
Just wish they had better sports teams.
Yeah,
she went to NM State because of Dad.
Yeah, we went to one game. We watched New Mexico State play Wyoming, and Wyoming kicked the crap out of them.
That's a common thread.
Yeah, but what was hilarious was we were in the alum section because Dad always had tickets.
Sure.
And there was like 3 or 4 fights, man. Those old guys were getting down. I was rolling. I was like, yeah, let's go, man. I mean, yeah, this one poor dude sitting in between like 15 guys. He's got a Wyoming shirt on. I'm like, does, Custer's Last Stand mean anything to you, man? I mean, you're about ready to get wiped out.
It's not a day to be wearing that shirt right here, right now.
Yeah, and he just, the fire was there. It just needed a little bit of fuel.
Absolutely.
And Wyoming scored, and he stood up and screamed, and that was the fuel. So.
Like, no, we're already beating people.
Yeah, it's like, that was just it. I mean, they took it from the stands out into the parking lot. I was just like, wow. These guys are, New Mexico State serious.
Yeah.
God
forbid they get a real good football team.
Oh,
there,
man. They're mowing people down in the parking lots after that.
Well, they did get that one run here last year or whatever, and then the coach up and left on them. So
someday.
Yeah, someday. That's it. Just when they get good enough, then some bigger college grabs them.
Yeah, they always find a good coach, and then it's like, we need
Then
him.
he goes to UCLA or something.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, bringing it back to the plants and stuff here. Yes, even though we do not have Jim Gill hanging out in the building anymore to hit us with his wisdom. Like you said, you've got enough people there that have been filling in, and through the amalgamation of people, you're kind of, between all of you, you've got Jim pretty much covered here.
Pretty close. Yeah, still. We don't have his quick wit, and stuff like that. And a lot of people have asked, well, I still hear the commercials on the radio. It's like, we can't replicate that. Nor there's no way. I mean, that was, and people are like,
staple.
And everybody was like, well, he's just so funny on the radio. He's like that. He was like that all the time.
And his memory lives on. Every time we hear it, we all think fondly of Jim Gill.
Yeah.
That's okay, maybe he didn't buy any geraniums that day, but you know what? It was great to hear Jim.
Oh, there for like 2 months, everything was yes, dear.
Yeah.
You'd say something to the customer and be all like, yes, dear.
Yeah.
It's like, And then the pecan ones, those were always, I had a lady call me up on the phone one day. I didn't even hear the dang commercial. All right, and she
probably
called
for the nut grabber.
Yeah. It was one of the pecan ones to fulfill your grow big large nut or something. I forgot what it was. She called me and she ripped me up one side and down the other. I thought you were good Christian people. I'm like, lady, it wasn't me. I didn't even heard the commercial.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
It's like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And Dad just laughed. He thought that was hilarious. I was all like, I'm going to direct her towards you next time she calls, type of deal. It's like, man.
She could probably use a nut with it.
Yeah. It's like kind of what Dad had said too.
Spent all day picking up nuts. You want a nut?
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
So we're doing. We're doing everything. Most of all of our flowers, we're all gone. Vegetables this year we got hit. We had a marauding band of mice that went through our greenhouse.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they wiped out about 6,000 plants.
Bunch of mice fat sitting in the corner with big extended bellies.
So if anybody has any mouse problems, let us know, because we got every mouse trap known to man in those things.
All their mouse are round balls with little short legs.
Yeah, they were. Yeah. Oh,
they got little toothpick legs.
Yeah.
Man, and we were getting calls and people just coming in. It's like, what, and it's like, we can't,
I wonder if like moisture or lack thereof does that draw the mice in?
I don't know, but they ate all of the pepper seed.
Interesting.
So they're true New Mexico mice. I mean, all of our peppers.
They ate all the big gems, the jalapenos.
Wow.
Yeah.
You see these little burnt marks all over the ground.
Yeah, that's what we're looking at. Looking for just like burnt spots with hair around it, and stuff. But they ate. I forgot how many. They ate the plug trays. Wow. So we're trying to remedy that for next year. We haven't come up with a foolproof plan on that yet, except for getting our greenhouse guy, Kent.
Got to build a better mousetrap literally here.
We're just going to buy him a ghillie suit, and he's just going to sit inside and shoot mice at night.
Mice hunting.
Yeah, so we don't know. But yeah, we have, I don't know how many.
Does he need the ghillie suit for the mice, or he's just going to wear it?
I don't know.
I don't think the mice care.
Make him feel better.
He just wants to wear a ghillie suit.
Yeah.
He's that kind of guy. He's
I get it.
Yeah, he
I
is.
get it.
Yeah.
You got a ghillie suit, you want to wear
Wasn't
it.
he Air Force too?
No, he was Navy.
Oh, Navy.
Military, same difference.
Yeah, same
Yeah.
difference.
He has a very sick sense of humor.
People, let's face it, everyone that owns a ghillie suit are just looking for excuses to wear the ghillies.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Like you just scare your neighbors. Actually, hunting with it? No, they never do that. They're just like messing with their neighbors.
It's too hot.
Hanging out in the front yard waiting for kids to walk by. That's what they're doing.
They're hot. They're hot. I mean,
they're not meant for
They're not
breathable.
comfortable. Yeah, but So we tried to overcome that. We are having more and more pepper plants coming out right now. Although it is kind of late, you can still get them in the ground. They'll still work.
Late peppers are better than no peppers.
Yeah,
but honestly, last year I planted everything the typical time, and because our summer was so hot, I didn't have any produce until after it started cooling off.
It was September.
So you probably lucked out a little bit by starting it later.
Yeah, and
normal,
I'm thinking, if you're planting these late, they're going to be getting established in the heat and not trying to produce in the heat. So as it starts to cool down, they'll start to produce more. So I still think that they'd be good.
Oh yeah, they're still not growing.
So is our climate a little bit more forgiving for stuff like that, like growing seasons and stuff, like whatever the standard is? Usually ours is a little different just because of the way our heat is.
Well, no, I mean nature evolves regardless. These seeds have been grown in this area for. I think
Forever.
Big Jim's came out in like the early 80s.
Okay.
We've had them ever since then. So at least the 80s, if I'm not mistaken. That's when Jim Rutherford started Hatch. And Dr. Nakayama from New Mexico State actually made the Big Jim chili.
Okay.
And he's the one who made the seed. And he named it after Jim Rutherford, who is Hatch chili.
Gotcha.
And that started, I think it was 70s or 80s is when that happened. So those seeds have been in these grounds for all of those years.
Interesting.
So yeah, they can adapt rather quickly.
I'm just gee whiz curious. Like when they talk like the big, is there like a mother plant that sits in somewhere in Hatch or whatever that all these begat off of? Or how does that work?
It was actually made by New Mexico State.
Okay.
And they did trial testing of I don't know how many chilies, that they do trial testing on and stuff like that. And there's trial plots all over New Mexico, Arizona. Every state has trial plots because they're looking for the best seed that's going to grow in that area. And we would look at all the reports and stuff like that and see, this was years ago before I was even around, that what seeds are going to be the best for our area.
Sure.
And then that's the seeds that they kind of started bringing in and implementing and then seeing how they grew, what they did, how they did, and stuff like that.
I mean, can they look at it and be like, okay, well, see, this clay or this dirt has more clay in it, therefore we need to adjust this way?
Yeah, and that's exactly what they do.
Okay.
So, but once they, basically, this is the final product right here, and they start planting the seeds, so they'll leave, one plant, so that way it can go to seed. The pepper dries on the plant, and then they pluck it, and then they let it continue drying, and then you take the seeds out, and that's how you have your seeds to replant for the following season.
That's to repopulate for next
so
year.
It's a fresh seed that's grown a plant that's produced, so they
in
know
that area.
Yeah, in that area.
Okay.
See, that's a lot of people don't realize, like the alfalfa, like that was coming up around here. Everything used to be common, and then they started bringing in, farmers started bringing in other kinds of alfalfa seed, and some of the alfalfa seed down south, first time they planted it, half of that field came in, and so everybody kind of ditched it except for a couple of the farmers, and they said, you know what, let's take those seeds and we're going to replant them. Well, they took the seeds, they replanted them. Well, more of the field came in. So they took the seeds, replanted them, and then the whole field came in. And they're like, okay, so that plant adapted to that area, the strongest, and then that's the premises of why they do what they do all over the place. Yeah, this is not like new technology. It's not like somebody's, oh, no, this has been around for hundreds of years.
Right.
You know, you're going to take something and plant it, like even in your yard, you take certain flowers, plant them. Those ones came up, these ones didn't. Well, you kind of know then. You know, you tried again second time, that still didn't, but these ones came up. Those are going to work. You know.
Well, that's where I think, like you said, it's the things have been done for 100 years. I think where it's new is the science comes in, and now they can almost get it to a point where, like, we can predict based on the ingredients, how we're doing it. We can predict what it's going to do next, and they're much more accurate on getting reliable. Like, if you're like, hey, I want my chili to be this. They can grow it now, and it will be that.
Yes.
Or where before, I imagine it was, well, it might be, or it might evolve over this way a little
and then
bit.
the old additive, you know, once it starts producing fruit, you start for water, Scoville unit comes up on it. Now, that's been talked about for years and years and years.
That's the official measurement for heat, is Scoville.
You know, and
higher the number, the hotter it is.
Yeah, and we, I couldn't get the seed this year, but there is a seed that is called Mrs. June, and Mrs. June is named after June Rutherford, the original.
So it's like the marrying partner to the Big Jim.
Yes. So that Mrs. June, it is a large pod, like a Big Jim, but it's as hot as a lumbre. And if anybody had the pleasure of talking with Mrs. June on the phone, know why they named it Mrs. June.
Big Jim,
oh boy, was she spicy. She called down one day asking for Dad, and I was all like, he's not in at the moment. Can I take a message for you, or is there something that I can help you with? She was all like, you're too effing young, kid. And I was like, you're joking. I was like, yes, ma'am. And Dad came in, and he said, oh, no, she calls black, black, white, white, green, green. She don't care where she's at, know. And so there's a reason why they named it. Yeah, that's a spicy chili.
But that's old farm.
It was.
Way you do it.
And
they got time for niceties and all that.
No.
So the Young Gun chili that you see right now that says Young Gun Hatch, okay, that is the Rutherford's grandchildren.
Okay.
That have splintered off, basically.
Okay.
They started off I can't remember if they started off in Arizona and then went to Mexico, or they started in Mexico and then they went to Arizona.
Okay.
I don't know which. But that is still Hatch chili. It's just grown in a different area now.
Gotcha.
And so that's... Yeah.
So the grandkids, is it kind of an amalgamation of the Big Jim and the Mrs.
Yeah,
June?
it was kind of, I don't know the whole deal on it of what happened, but they got seed and they just kind of did their own thing, and they might be producing their own different kind of a seed. I mean, it's, we have all the New Mexicos.
I feel like they probably have like a farm with a greenhouse with some weird stuff. Like,
you know
what I mean? Like, this chili can grow arms. Maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know. You know what I mean? But this chili will grow itself. It'll literally water itself.
It's kind of like
go in that greenhouse.
Yeah, it's kind of like that all over though. I mean, like I'm just barely tapping into like the alfalfa end of it. I mean, the product and research of alfalfa is pretty extensive.
Sure.
Especially in New Mexico, there's 5 different plots in the state that grows, and all these alfalfa guys will just bring seed. Here, try this. We want to see what it's doing. It's elevation, heat, clay, temperature, all of that kind of stuff. And so you start looking, and they grow it for 4 years. And then they look at the averages, and that's, you're kind of sitting there going, wow, that's a 4-year process that they're basically watching this stuff grow. Does it grow well here? Does it not do well?
and we get the reports. And then I get to go through all those reports and look at all of them and see where the seed that we have. Where does it sit on the report? If it sits, is there one that's a little higher or one that's the highest? Can I get a hold of that one? And will it adapt to this little bit of height? So then I'm on the phone with these guys and okay, so this was grown at 2,800 feet. Will it grow at 3,500 feet or 3,800 feet? And they're like, oh, we tried a little bit, and no, it won't. And it's like, okay, go down to this. Yeah, that one will do what it's like, okay. So then I have a list, and then I break that list down to a list, and then that list down to a list, and then bring in the best seed that I possibly can.
Then your final list of these are the ones that work well here.
Yeah, and I just think I just did that for alfalfa. Jim Gill and Walter Gill, and before them, they did that for every seed that you see in our store. And I'm complaining I'm doing it just for alfalfa, so it's like, I'll just keep my mouth shut.
There's hundreds of seeds and hundreds.
It's like, oh my gosh,
And that's getting back to what I talked about with Roswell Seed and what we were talking about, the expertise. And we every time when you guys come in, we say, not only do you know what to put, but what part of town. It's like if you live at the north end, they want you to grow your grass this way because that's what the soil's like. If it's at the south end, it's probably this way. And that's where Roswell Seed, the 100+ years of knowledge that's been passed over the years from generation to generation, is what you're getting here. And just because we don't have an amazing man in Jim Gill in the store anymore, that 100 years of expertise and knowledge that he brought, that training, it might take him a little longer to access it, but that knowledge is still in the building. And like you said, all that is spent on one plant, one seed. Take that times 100 in there, and that's what the difference is between buying seed at Roswell Seed versus going to some big box store and buying a little bag of whatever's on the spinny shelf there.
Yeah. And we still hold the same standards, even though that dad's gone. We still hold the same standards.
Yeah.
Germination tests are still going to be done the same way. His standard will still be the same way. Generally, when I say standards, so the FDA or EPA or one of those PA places, I don't know, come up with a standard of germination. So the seed germinated at X amount. Well, okay, that's okay to sell to the public. Our germination is at least an 88. If it drops below an 88, we get rid of the seeds. We throw them away. Most companies give the seeds away, and then they get repackaged in someplace, and they'll be sold at a big box store. So when you go and you buy
the average
seeds,
person buys, it's not that big a deal. Where people that rely on it for a living, they know the difference and they walk in.
And that was the thing many years ago, because we did so much like that for the farm seed and kind of left the residential seed out, because most people, they propagated their own seeds. And then once that started going by the wayside, Dad was really strong in implementing, no, we're going to do for the residents the same thing we do for the farmers. So here we go.
The same quality vegetables and fruits and plants in their garden as the guy that's doing this for a living.
And it's always, I got a couple of new guys at the shop right now, and they get to learn this winter. They get to germinate all that seed. Everything gets germinated. And then if it's questionable, we send it off to the state and have a state test done on it. But yeah, they're gonna find out. Whoa, when you get the carrot seed, oh my God, that's a headache.
It's so much more than putting a couple seeds in the dirt, throw some water on it.
No, there's these little plug trays that are about that big, and it holds 100 seeds.
That's amazing. Yeah. And then it's a science lab with dirt and stuff.
It is.
It really is. You go to any kind of seed germination place or something, it literally is a science lab, but with plants and stuff.
Yeah.
It's really only different.
And it's interesting because, you think of Roswell, just, Roswell's Roswell, blah, blah, blah. I get to meet a very interesting woman last week. Her dad actually used to run the tractor store, which is now Roswell Tire and Appliance. It used to be a tractor shop way back in the day. She was from Utah, and she is a plant propagator. She actually takes photographs of plants as they first come up. So the first leaf, she takes pictures of, so you can identify that and stuff like that. Really, really interesting woman. And it's like she just, I was doing something on the forklift, and I came around. She had this really big camera, and she started asking me, and I started telling her this building that was added on. And she was all like, "Why?" And I said, "Well, back in the day, Main Street was like 6 lanes if you really want to get down to it. And then she came in and she walked in the seed store and she was like, oh my God. And I was like, what? And she was all like, I didn't know they had places like this still. And I'm like, yeah. And then she started telling me. So now I kind of have her and I gave her some seeds and stuff like that. And now she's going to grow them, take pictures of them. Then we'll be. So if you come in and say, hey, what is this? At a real small, I might be able to have the picture for that.
You've got a database to reference.
And then be able to tell you, hey, that's a this or that's a this.
Yeah.
And she's been doing this for years.
Yeah.
She's about 70.
And to be honest, that's probably how you figure stuff out in that world.
Yeah.
Like it's literally someone has to take the painstaking, monotonous task of doing what she's doing to have a history database to do this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is like anytime you get on the internet Googling and learning things, it's because somebody did exactly what this woman's doing.
Yeah, exactly.
To collect that information.
And we got people, they brought in some weeds I'd never even seen before. And it's like, what is this? So, I tracked it down, looked it up. Okay, I found it. I'm like, yeah, but it's not even, it's more in this area. How did it get to our area?
Wind?
And I was talking to a guy and he was all like, yeah, he goes, storm systems. And I was all like, okay. So we kind of were just backtracking and looking at it. Then I'm like, yeah, but the last storm system came in this way. He says, where did that storm system come in from? And me and him sat there on my computer for like an hour and we tracked all this stuff. And he was all like, there it is. Look, back on this day, this storm went through this area, met up with this storm, and it was just, these seeds took like an international highway.
That's cool.
And it landed in our area.
Kind of track it.
Yeah, and it's just all like, whoa, but we had, Doppler radar and all this other stuff, Google Maps and everything.
But just kind of gets to the point, like when you go through customs and they're so stringent about fruits and this is kind of the reason why that kind of, because it literally is that easy to cross-contaminate stuff.
Yeah, one little bug.
Yeah.
It could propagate into millions of bugs. So that's
so when you're trying to smuggle in grapes from Mexico, this is
Before we forget, beekeepers, if you're getting ready to start putting supers on your hives to get ready to harvest honey, we have plenty of wax, plenty of frames. If you need them built in advance, call ahead. Let us know how many and the sizes. We can
your
have
bee
them.
headquarters is Roswell Seed.
It is.
From bees to the supplies to keep your bees.
So if you need supers built, or if you just need the frames, or just the wax, call ahead of time. We'll have it set aside and ready for you.
And you'll make friends. People want to be your friend when they find out they get free honey from you.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure you guys made lots of friends.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
And then...
and then some. We got because someone, I ain't going to mention who, got us involved in another beekeeper here. And locally...
He was brought on to us by Duffy.
Yeah, okay. So you're going to blame it all on Jason Duffy. You can't blame it all on Jason Duffy.
He introduced us. That's the problem there.
Anyway, so...
You can pass a buck.
She passed it big time. But, so if this works out, we're going to have a lot of local honey.
Awesome. Love that.
Yeah.
I've never heard said, you know what, there's just too much honey here.
Yeah.
Never heard that say that.
So it's not all dependent on me. We're gonna be taking care more or less of the extracting of the honey for, because he doesn't have that process, but he is basically kind of giving up the hives to be able to bring the honey into our store, and we'll be selling it because everybody's been asking. We tried something with Mother Nature. I think it's going to work. It looked promising on a couple of our hives. We didn't get stung the other day. That's always a good sign. So I'm hoping to have honey within about a week. Excellent. Not going to be a lot, but it's going to be just a little bit.
All you allergy sufferers and people like that, one of the best things is eating locally grown honey in the area of which you live.
Yep.
It does help build antibodies and immunities to, if you, next thing you know, you're not sniffling and sneezing, or eyes aren't itching as much. And you might notice that because that local honey is actually giving you a little bit of some of the protections.
That's funny because, you say that. You think we got honey in our house? No.
Hold on. Correction. We do have honey in our house, but it's not the spoonful of honey you eat a day because it's that spicy chipotle honey I brought you.
That one might light a little fire on you.
Yeah.
It's great mixing it into things. Though.
Oh, yeah.
Heat, which is sweet. It's good for that.
Yeah, but if you're not paying any attention, like me, and
they're great for dipping chicken nuggets, weirdly.
Well, I dipped a spoon in it and took a lick full of it and was all like, oh, God, And I didn't really look at the jar all that close. I just grabbed some and, because I wanted, some enzyme. And I was like, oh. You got it out of the wrong jar. It's the only jar up there. You know,
Maybe
it's
you
like
get a little bit, mark it a little better.
I told her,
Hold on.
put like a skull and crossbones on
If
it or
it
something.
says Atlas in my Atlas mason jar, that is do not touch my honey.
All right.
If you would read the Atlas
I
on
didn't. It was turned.
it's on 4 sides.
It doesn't matter. It's only it's a round jar. It doesn't have sides.
Atlas is a square jar.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh, never mind then.
There it is.
well.
Boom.
But
and then
All right.
also there's a bag sale going on at Roswell Seed.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Busted
Yes.
bags are at a discounted price.
So
So,
save big on them busted bags.
Yep.
Yes.
We
and
also
the stuff inside the busted bag is just as good as the bag wasn't busted. They got to discount it because it's a busted bag. So
and a
save
lot
on
of them are just they didn't seal real well.
Sure.
And when my guys are grabbing them off the pallet, they rip open.
I'm sure
so,
any company that deals with bags, like cement companies or anything that
Yeah.
deals with big feed bags or big 50, 30-pound bags, they got to deal with this at some point or another.
They
Whether
do.
it's feed in there or seed or concrete or dog food.
So and then we are bringing in some new products. I did reach out to some other fertilizer companies. Brought in some new fertilizers for people. Brought in a new. We're testing it out right now. A new lawn fertilizer. You're supposed not to have to water your lawn so much. We did that being that the city evidently bounced the water bill extensively.
The prices are getting a little pricier. Yeah.
So I brought this in hoping to relieve that. So we're trying it. We're trying it right now.
Well, cross fingers, see if it works well.
It works. And I've
They're
given,
doing the testing.
Yeah, I've sent some bags out to various people with lawns in various stages to see how well it's going to work. They're going to get back with me. I brought in some other stuff. So far, it has tested extremely well.
Good. So fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
the
Yeah.
stuff that Calvin took.
The soils.
Yeah.
So, organic farmers or the cannabis farmers, I did find a soil.
Okay.
It's cheaper. It's a 40-pound bag. We've been getting it for 30 years. We didn't know anything. I just happened to stumble across it.
A lot more people are now starting to grow cannabis. So
Yeah.
there probably wasn't a lot of testing on that one.
Right.
Prior.
But did run it through some people. They tried it. Worked extremely well for them. They liked it. We were dabbling in trying to find a fertilizer. That totally blew up. But I did run across a fertilizer that we bring in that didn't know about it, had tested it on, people tested it. It's growing very well.
Excellent.
So we do have that end of it covered. So I did fulfill what I said I was going to do.
Yeah. Well, that's the beauty of the seed world is that, it works here, but guess what? It might work for something new here, too.
And I just needed numbers, and I had people giving me plenty of numbers.
It's like anything else, cannabis or peaches or anything else.
Yeah.
It takes a certain set of ingredients for it to do what it's got to do, and this shares properties with many others. That's all.
And we brought in, we got some little trinket stuff now. We got knives. We brought in working man knives, not like, the 13-inch Bowie knives,
Right.
the Rambo
Not show
knives.
knives
No, these are working man knives. These
Functioning
are,
knives.
the old timers and stuff like that, pocket knives. We brought in
Flashlights.
flashlights, extremely powerful flashlights.
Nice.
That have
Because-
rechargeable batteries.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
they're all rechargeable.
Ones that, I've seen those ones that they literally look like boom, and they're blinding everybody.
Yeah,
I like
but these are small. I mean, these aren't like
So
where you
something
had
you
a
put in your
shoulder
glove box
strap
or something.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
okay, so these are like a spotlight in your hand.
Nice.
Yeah, they're real small.
Something you
Ask
fit
me
your
how
car.
I
Yeah.
know
When your car breaks
how
down.
Yeah.
blinding they are.
What? I just had to try it. Yeah, but they clip to your hat, and then I do have some actual headlamps. They're extremely powerful. Extremely powerful. So you do really have to be careful when you're wearing them that you don't. Hey, what are you doing? You know,
Right, yeah.
Yeah, because that
Point
person's
it up
going to
or
see
down.
spots for like 10 minutes.
Flash
easily.
blind.
So yeah, we are bringing in. We have brought in some new stuff for people to kind of expand and try and things of that nature.
Come by Roswell Seed. Come
not-
check it out.
There's still some elephant ear bulbs
Okay.
Oh God,
that
no.
need a home, so people please come and buy them before they end up in our home and he kills me.
Otherwise, John's gonna watch Crystal grow them.
Yeah,
We
John's
have-
got to dig the dang hole.
No, they're going in planters.
Excellent.
So we have one in our kitchen that's literally 6 feet tall now.
Nice.
Oh yeah, it's great. It's so great.
Beautiful.
But the neighbors.
It's adorable. Yeah. So we have tried some new things, but we are still the same Roswell Seed. So.
Absolutely. Come on by. Come. What's the store hours?
Store hours 8 to 5 Monday through Saturday.
That's right. Come on by, and if you can't, And if you have questions, don't hesitate to call or come by. And if they can't give you the answer direct, they'll find it out for you.
Yes, sir. We sure will.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks, Roswell.
Anytime. 9:57, few political ads before they kick me off the radio. Don't go away. Last day of this, folks. Tomorrow's the last day. Go vote tomorrow, and then you have to listen to this nonsense for at least a month or two.
Yeah.
So enjoy it.
This is Chad Hamill, and I'm running to be your next senator for District 32. My opponent, Candy Azell, can't defend her 20-year record in the Santa Fe swamp, so she's attacking other people's families and kids on the radio. That's the difference in this race. Candy attacks other people's kids while I'm running to protect yours. And on my record, as a fire chief, I have seen the devastation of open borders. Fentanyl overdoses are out of control. As a small business owner here in the community, I know firsthand how politicians in Santa Fe have destroyed small businesses for our communities. As a previous school board member, I know local control has been ripped away from our schools. It is time for a change. The same old just isn't working. I will be your conservative voice in Santa Fe. Career politicians have gotten New Mexico into this mess, but as a firefighter, I've made my living running towards problems, and I'm ready to fix the problems. I humbly ask for your vote on June the 4th so we can put the fire out in Santa Fe. Paid for by friends of Chad Hamill.
You received a social media message or text from an unknown number. They started a conversation with you, and over time, they earn your trust. Then, they encourage you to invest online or buy cryptocurrency. And when you do, they disappear, along with your money. But it can be avoided. The Securities Division of New Mexico's Regulation and Licensing Department can help. Learn to spot the red flags of investment scams at rld.nm.gov/red flags or call 505-476-4580.
This is State Senator Bill Scherer, the senior Republican in the State Senate. My voting record is ranked as the most conservative in the Senate. I want to tell you about my conservative Republican friend, Greg Nybert. I strongly endorse Senator Greg Nybert and urge you to support him as well. Behind the scenes in Santa Fe, Greg is a strategist and a tactician who helps our side defeat the progressive agenda. We desperately need him to help us fight MLG's agenda. Greg is the only Republican lawyer in the state Senate, and we cannot stop bad leftist legislation without him. That is just one of the reasons it is crucial you turn out to vote in this election for Greg Nybert. He is the conservative leader that New Mexico needs. Please vote for Greg Nybert in the upcoming Republican primary for state Senate.
Paid for by Greg Nybert for state Senate.